Hello and welcome to Backstage with There Goes the Neighborhood, where we talk about beer, stuff, music, and things. My name is Shaheen Muradian, and I will be your host today. I am joined by the illustrious Mr. Connor Hall.
Hi, Mom.
And Chris and Josh Marcanti of the Throwbacks. Hopefully I said your last name right.
You did it. Nailed it.
Close enough.
Close enough,
Yeah,
eh?
yeah.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
We're going to get some tunes going here while we let people kind of filter in. This is where we just fill some time while people kind of, join up.
We're gonna vamp.
Yeah, we're gonna pretend we're jazz musicians, and we're just gonna, we're gonna do a C7 progression here.
Oh yeah.
Can we vape instead of vamp?
No.
Because that's what cool kids do now. No,
You're
I
not-
don't vape.
I was like, you're not vaping, are you?
No.
I don't know.
Dude, my little brother started vaping, and he did it just because. I was like, so why'd you do that? Were you smoking cigarettes and I didn't know? And he goes, no, I just started vaping. And I'm like, yeah, what the hell is that?
Because
it's the
TikTok.
kids today.
Because the kids do it. I hate to sound old, but like it's just really dumb.
Kids in their MTV.
Right? What's that all about? I just noticed that I have you guys in the wrong positions for your templates, so I'm just gonna move you real quick, Connor.
Okay.
I have you and
Josh
Josh's
is
spot because
Connor.
I'm actually really bad at this.
Oh, I see that.
I'm literally the worst. So I think you go here.
I think you misspelled.
Your wife's already yelling at you.
I
I think you
Yeah,
misspelled.
I think you go.
I think you
Emily's-
misspelled Chris.
Did I
I think
do
you
that right?
misspelled Chris's name.
Did I do
It's
this right?
P-E-N-I.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
You're
Don't
better
do it.
than that.
Hold on.
You're
Can
better.
I fix this? I can fix this. I can fix this, guys. Stand by. I can totally fix this.
Oh, there's an S. I missed the S.
There we go.
That's it.
I fixed that. Now I just gotta do one more.
Emily mad because she can hear me from the other room, but the delay to the live stream is completely.
Ah!
Oh.
Let's see if I can get this going. Did I do it?
Is it time for
Did
beer?
I do it? No.
It's always time for beer.
I got your names backwards, so I'm just gonna move them real fast because I can do that. Because I can do that.
Sheen's taking full control here.
Yeah. We're going way
Driving this
off the rails here.
bus right off the cliff
I
already.
had everything completely set up, and then I changed it because I'm a jerk, apparently. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Now everybody's set up.
Man.
All right. Do you guys want to start with beers? Should we start there? Do you guys want to?
Yeah.
Part of this
Definitely.
is super exciting for me because we're going to do a beer tasting. And for those of you that don't know, I'm an avid beer brewer. You might know that because if you've ever talked to me for more than 5 seconds, I've absolutely mentioned beer ad nauseum.
You know.
Yeah. So why don't we start with? So I've given you guys 5 bottles of beer, numbered 1 through 5.
Right.
And we're going to go through them, starting with 1, and we're going to end on 5. Does that sound good?
Shaheen, before we get to the good stuff,
Yeah.
would you mind if I just showed real quick? I'm drinking a Revolution Hazy Hero,
Oh, nice.
which is really, really damn good. And now we'll get to Shaheen's awesome. But I just
Yes.
needed to show it before I pour it.
I don't think I've had the Hazy Hero yet.
It's good.
It's definitely one of the better hazies. Definitely one of the better.
I'm going to follow along here because I've got a number 1. And while you guys are getting your beers set up, I will say, just as an introduction to the Throwbacks, for those of you that have not heard the Throwbacks, I can say probably unequivocally they're our most favorite band to play with. Connor, would you not agree?
Yeah, definitely one of our most favorite bands to play with, and they played my fucking wedding. So
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
That is
We're gonna-
true.
We're going to talk about your wedding.
Which was a goddamn honor and a pleasure.
It certainly was.
Yeah.
It certainly was.
I'm actually going to pull this over here so I can follow along with the comments. This is I'm doing a 3-screen solution here, guys. So I'm looking between 8 screens. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh,
So while you guys are pouring your beer, why don't you one of you explain why the Throwbacks are great? Who are the Throwbacks, and why do you call yourselves the Throwbacks? What kind of music do you play?
Well-
What are we listening to? What is assaulting my ears right now?
before we get that far, let's talk about this beer for a quick second.
Oh yeah.
So, Shaheen, this is for the people. It offered for me to come out and pick up. Should I be pouring this, by the way?
I would.
Into
Yeah,
a
because you're
glass.
showing a bottle that
Yeah, you
is
should
a
pour it in a
brew that
glass.
is not the actual
God,
brew that's
not
in
Not
it.
his beer.
Well, now I'll be right back.
Here we go.
I'd
I'll
suggest
do it.
a
And this is a
Crusade
great
burger bar.
segue for us to all share the stream right now. So if you guys are watching, and also the guys on the stream now, let's go ahead and share this to our Facebooks and let everybody know that we're doing something fun. Let's assault everybody's Facebook pages because that's just how we do here.
I mean, that's what musicians do. That's all we do. Just assault
right.
people's
Right, you're
Facebook.
literally that guy. You're literally
We're
that guy.
all that
All
guy.
Events. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I actually don't know how to share
Blasting
something as
people with it.
myself. This is why my life is so hard. I remember I told Connor, like, don't make me an administrator of a page. Like, I can't do this. It's too hard. It's too hard.
Oh,
just
God.
take me off the damn thing.
I think Josh broke the first rule of live streaming, which is don't leave.
Be prepared.
Don't show an empty couch.
Yeah, right, yeah. Listen, your butt is
All right.
glued. You cannot move. All right, I shared on my page. We're good.
So anyway, yeah, Shaheen offered us to be the tasters for this evening. So, cheers to you, sir.
Cheers to you guys, and cheers to everybody who's
both
joining
of you.
us. Thank you very
Cheers
much.
to the chat.
We're gonna drink some crispy boys.
Crispy
Taste.
boy train don't stop.
I keep hearing this crispy boy thing.
Yeah. Yep.
So Bud Light, right? Wasn't it Bud Light? They made like igloo coolers that say Crispy Boy on them. Like
It's an
And
igloo cooler,
then-
yeah, exactly.
yeah, and then we like Chris I think sent it to the chat, and then we started saying it because we thought it was funny, and it turns out that it annoys our wives, so it's
Oh,
even
yeah.
funnier.
The number one, and you guys, everybody knows this, right? You never show weakness. You never show that something is
No.
bothering you, because as soon as you do, it's, that's like the chink in the armor. We're just we're gonna completely drive that point home. We're gonna make it hurt, right? So
Real quick, I got to jump in. Mark Anderson apparently is watching, my old English teacher, and somehow knows AJ, which I think is very funny. But Mark actually told me he was going to kick my ass at some point. So it's good to see that.
That's the Mr. Anderson who said he's
Mr.
going to
Anderson.
kick your
That's
ass.
Mr. Anderson. That's
Nice.
absolutely right.
Well, cheers to Mr. Anderson.
Absolutely.
cheers to Mr. Anderson.
I would have kicked
always.
my ass.
And his fantastic black suit.
Yes.
Yeah, we're-
Listen, for the things I said to that man when I was in high school, actually, formally, I'm not going to formally apologize. Live on air, for the things that I said to
A
you.
first in cover band live streaming, a formal apology to a former high school
Former
teacher.
Yeah, whoever does that. It's more like, look where I am now, guys, in high school. I'm in a cover band. I'm so cool. Give me the time of day. Now I'm playing someone else's songs and taking credit for them.
That's the dream. That's the dream we always had, right? So that's how we
Right,
impress the
yeah.
ladies and impress our
That's right.
peers and teachers.
That's
Like, I want to be in a cover band. I'm going to make it. Yeah.
If you can't write your own songs, make money off someone else's.
If
That's
you can't
the
beat
rule.
them. If you can't beat them.
Yeah. Shout out to More Brewing, by the way. Ross is in the audience, and he supplied me with some amazing beer from More, and hopefully he'll continue supplying me with beer if I give him shout outs. So everyone,
Hey.
show More Brewing some love in Huntley and in where's the other place? Is it in Elmhurst? I want to say it's in Villa Park. Does that sound right? I don't know. Something like that.
Huntley's close to me, so that means I have to go. And I
Yeah.
saw the photos. I remember it was like I think it was a sponsored post where they were showing like the construction photos of the brewery. It looked awesome. And so I was really
That's
excited
cool.
to go until this COVID hit. And then I was like, oh man, well, I guess I have to wait to go. But I do really want to. That place looked really cool. And then it turned out to be a fun coincidence that you like know the guy who's there.
Yeah. So now that we got our crispy boys, now that we're settled in, before we start talking about the crispy boy, I want to talk about the throwbacks first, because I want everybody to know who you are. We've got a lot of people on the chat who are probably here, who know There Goes the Neighborhood, who may have seen you guys play with us. But for those of you who have not, why don't you go ahead and introduce the throwbacks?
Chris?
Go ahead, JP.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was your inception.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so yeah, we are a trio of 30-somethings. It's me and Chris, who are twins, the worst kind of twins you can come across. And then our best friend, Mr. Brandon Winger, and drummer, Mr. Brandon Winger.
Shout out to Brandon if he's watching.
Yep.
If he's not watching, we're gonna make you watch this later.
The whole thing.
We met Brandon when we were playing in originals pop punk kind of band called the American Autumn. This was like pre-wives, pre-children, you know, that whole story. And we did that for a bunch of years, and then when that dissolved, we knew we still wanted to play music, and we still wanted to hang out basically every week and drink beers and talk about video
Do the
games
things
and stuff like
single
that.
people do, before you have
Yeah.
wives and kids. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
For sure. And then you find that excuse to be the reason you still get together.
correct.
Um,
Can confirm.
and then, yeah. So Chris and I grew up listening to the oldies station in and around Chicago, Oldies 104.3.
104.3.
By the way, Chris, I don't know if you knew this. There's a documentary about Dick Biondi out
that is
there.
the,
That
can I just stop you right there, because that's the most hilarious name I've ever heard in my life.
Dick Biondi's
Wait a
Forgotten
second.
Oldies. You don't know who Dick Biondi is?
No,
Shaheen, you don't know who Dick Biondi is?
no, but I want
Oh
to talk
my
about
God.
him. I only want to talk
I
about
guar-
Dick Biondi.
All right. I'm
I
gonna put.
guarantee people in the
I'm like
guarantee
5.
people in the chat are gonna go nuts when they hear that somebody from in and around Chicago doesn't know who Dick Biondi is. Connor, do you
Who the
know who
hell-
Dick Biondi is?
Who the hell's Dick Beyond?
Oh.
Guys,
But
it's
is
been
that
so
not the
real.
best name
Have a good
ever?
night.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everyone.
We're officially
goes
over.
the
12
Wait,
minutes
is that
in. That's all
off-
it took.
Is that Officer Dick from Tony Hawk? Is that guy?
No,
Officer-
although that is a good reference.
We do need to talk about Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remaster.
Oh,
coming
yeah.
up.
Dude,
We'll get to
I'm
that.
so
I know.
excited. Oh
Mhm.
my
I know.
god.
All right.
We'll talk
So
about
the
it. But
throwbacks, yeah.
so
Yeah,
so Chris and I grew up. My parents listened to the oldies a lot when we were growing up, and what we decided to do was, you know, we kind of looked around at the cover band landscape, and we saw out a genre that is underrepresented by far in and around Chicago, and then so we just literally decided to take our love of pop punk, and which we grew up on listening, and combine that with oldies, which we also grew up on listening. Literally just did like that combination, you know, kind of inspired by bands like Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, stuff like that. And then I remember coming up with the idea and selling it to Chris, who was immediately on board. He thought it was a great idea.
Mhm.
And then Brandon was like, I don't know. Okay. And so once we, you know, started like jamming out some of these songs, he was like, oh yeah, I do know a lot of these songs. And I feel like that's literally like,
It was just part of his subconscious. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of what people experience when we play for them. They're like, oh, I don't really know the oldies. And then you start playing like 5 songs and you're like, oh no, I know all the oldies.
That was 100% my experience that you described
Mhm.
the first time that we played with you, because Connor is pretty like I'll say it. Connor's a huge fanboy of you guys. I'm not afraid to say the truth. Why would I ever be afraid to speak the truth?
On that
That's
note,
weird.
I'm
Uh-oh.
repping tonight.
Oh.
Oh!
Full
Yes.
repping
Oh my
tonight.
god. Wow. Boom. Oh my goodness.
Look at
I
that.
picked it. I picked it
I
this
didn't even know
morning.
he was wearing that
without.
shirt.
Dude, I picked it this morning. I was like, all right, I gotta go to Dunkin'. I need a coffee, and I just put a shirt on, and I went, you know what?
Today's the day.
Perfect. Yeah,
That's
this
the
is
one.
perfect. Done.
That's the one.
Amazing.
Where's my There Goes the Neighborhood shirt?
Yeah, for real.
where is my There Goes
Talk
the
to
Neighborhood
Chris.
shirt?
Dude, we had the best koozies. They said drunk on pop punk.
Oh,
They're the
that is
best
a really
koozies.
good
And I
Ooh.
think, I think Chris came up with that.
Yeah,
and
I
it
think
was
Chris was in here
awesome.
for a hot second. I'm just gonna yell at him in case he watches
Where's
still
our
this.
in here.
koozies? I would have taken a koozie. I got to.
He's
you
in
know.
chat. Yeah, Chris is always hanging out in chat drinking crispy boys.
Yeah.
So,
Crispy boys.
Chris Boys for life.
So okay, so what do we think about beer number 1 first? And while you guys are thinking about what you want to say about beer number 1, I'm also going to correct myself and say that it is in Moore Brewing is in Villa Park and in Huntley. So they have 2 locations.
He
So,
looked it up.
I
looked
had
it
to
up.
look it up. I'm sorry. Like if you saw my eyes wandering, that's what was going on. I'm not cross-eyed. I swear. Maybe a little. All right. So
Beer
beer,
number
number
one
1. Chris,
is
you're
delicious.
a certified cicerone.
No, I just like drinking beer. It's
Can you
delicious.
tell us the style?
What is?
Yeah. I mean,
what's
I'm
the
gonna
style?
go. It's gonna be. It's almost not bitter enough to be a full IPA, so I'm gonna go closer to the pale ale range if I could. I'm gonna
hate all of this.
assume some sort of West Coast hop. West Coast. I'm getting very citrusy.
Josh, join me, and just keep your pinky up the whole time.
I think I'm
pinky up.
pretty sure on this one, I used Amarillo. So I think that's
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, I think there's an Amarillo in there and maybe some Cascade. I think were the two I used.
That's
Yeah.
Cascade. There you go.
Yeah.
It's delicious. It's not as carbonated as I would like, Shaheen.
That's my
What's
fault.
going on?
That's my fault. That's
Yeah.
a bottling mishap. 100%
Yeah.
my fault.
A bottling backfire, as they say.
Yes, it was not great. I'm afraid that a lot of these beers are not going to be as carbonated as I would like. So
That's all right. That's
I
all
like
right. I
watching-
was just poking at you.
I appreciate it. I like watching Josh cringe as we talk about beer. So we're gonna do that a lot. These motherfuckers.
I straight up did not start drinking until I was like a month away from 21.
Really?
Yeah. I was like one of those straight edge pop punk kids, you know?
Nice.
Oh, do you have
Yeah.
the X's on your band
Oh,
and everything?
for sure.
yeah.
I had
Oh,
I had a big fat triple X belt buckle that I would very proudly wear.
Oh my god.
Nice. Yeah, some
then-
of us
Yeah,
had those
wrong.
3 X's on our jugs. You had them on your belt.
One day I said, "Hey Chris, I think I'm ready to start drinking beer." And then I started drinking beer. And
He
then
pulled a
that's the end
beer
of that
like out of
story.
his pocket when you said that. By the way,
Like-
like it was waiting
Like-
there for you for like
God.
3
A couple
years.
of couple of 6-shooters.
So on the opposite end of that spectrum, I would hide beer in my room. And I remember I was moving out of my dad's place to move in with roommates for the first time. And I was cleaning things out in my room and I realized, oh crap, I have a ton of like Coors and Miller High Lifes in like a drawer. I was
Oh,
like,
Jesus.
well, I'm not going to drink these. So I got to dump these. Because I was 21 at that point. I was like, I'm not going to drink this. This is crap. And so then I went downstairs and I was like, hey, Dad, surprise. I've been hiding beer since I was like 16. He's like, hey, surprise. I know.
Yeah, he's not an idiot.
Your parents always know that. I had the same experience when my mom found, my mom found cigarettes. Because I thought I was like slick and hiding cigarettes. Which, if you've ever hung out with someone who smokes and you don't smoke,
cigarettes. Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah, hiding
there's no,
anything.
there's no way.
immediate-
Yeah, you're not hiding anything. I'm not.
No.
I'm
Oh,
not
were you
like-
just smoking out there? Because you smell.
You could have been smoking
How was
2
your
weeks ago. and I
30-minute walk?
Right, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know how much cologne you sprayed, but it's not enough, bro. Like,
Is that
moral of the
smoke
story.
by Marlboro?
This is a delicious beer.
I'm really
Shaheen,
enjoying
well
this beer.
executed.
really,
What I wanted to say is I'm really, really enjoying this beer.
I would not have because you said you don't like IPAs, and you're absolutely right. By the way, Chris, I was going for more of a pale, so I'm glad that
Yeah.
that came through.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is on the spectrum of
You're.
that one.
I was just you're teetering on where Josh likes beer.
Right. Chris knows me. He
We
knows.
can tip this way, and he's gonna be happy. He's gonna be, or you could tip this way. He's gonna be like, I just can't drink this. That's what's
It's
gonna.
too bitter for me. Too bitter for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really
Oh,
enjoying
this is
it.
delicious.
Yeah.
I found that
Amazing.
stouts and porters are like a rare
Connor?
thing for me.
Oh,
Oh,
explain.
thing.
Like
Explain.
so like I find them to only be good in the winter. Like that's the only time I'm ever in the mood
Oh,
for a
that's
stout
so
or a porter.
false.
Sure.
And then even then I want it very rarely. Like it's rare that I'm gonna go to Binny's and buy a 6-pack of a stout or a 6-pack of a porter.
Okay, that's fair.
Um,
Because I think a 6-pack of a porter is tough. You can crush like
Yeah.
a 6-pack of like a session or an IPA or whatever, but six
Yeah.
porters, 6 stouts, like one stout is
Yeah,
good.
that's a tough call.
One
Right.
stout's good.
Like a milk stout though, like a milk stout to me is very different, and I love milk stouts. But again, like I like summery beers. I like beers that are much more drinkable. Like this hazy is very drinkable. I don't go for the triple IPAs. I don't go for the double IPAs. I want something that tastes really good. It's like hot sauce. Like at a certain point, it's too hot to enjoy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And with
All
beer, it's the
hot
same
sauce.
thing. So I like a kind of mid-range balance.
This is gonna be a beer-heavy episode, guys.
Yeah.
I
Shout
swear
out-
we're gonna
Shout
talk
out to
about
everyone watching us talk about beer
Yeah, right.
for the
Yeah,
first
right.
15.
I swear to
Everybody-
God, we're gonna talk about.
Thank
other
you guys
stuff.
for tuning in. You didn't have anything better to do. Calm down.
Nine
Yeah,
people decided that they didn't like beer enough to.
Yeah, right.
To leave the chat. Yeah, that got done
Amazing.
quick.
They were like, I like vodka. This sucks.
Vodka is great too, except my first vodka experience involved me drinking vodka with Poles.
Wait, this-
and I would not recommend drinking with people who have vodka drinking as part of their genes, like their genetic structure.
no.
Like, not a good idea.
Shout out to Dane Urbach.
Dane
in the
Urbach.
chat.
Dane Urbach.
Yeah, who
is,
said to talk more about soda.
Yeah, Dane Urbach is. He was for the American Autumn. He was our previous drummer.
Oh, no way.
And
Original.
remains to be one of our best friends in the world. So, Dane wants us to talk about cream soda
Hold on,
and I won't.
I can't.
I won't do
Which
that.
Cream
can't
soda
skip
I feel
specifically?
like
What
What's
about like
that?
other crafts? I mean, there's tons of sodas. There's cream soda. There's
Yeah.
cherry soda. There's orange soda. There's ginger ale. There's ginger beer.
There's-
Kel
there's-
loves orange soda.
There's Diet Cherry Dr Pepper, and that's it.
Diet.
That's exactly right.
You lost me at diet, but like cherry Dr Pepper is fire. Like, I don't drink soda.
Uh,
But if I did drink soda, that's all I would drink.
Dr.
Diet-
Pepper is just barbecue sauce soda.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Barbecue soda.
Barbecue
Yes.
sauce
That's a
soda.
great way to say it, and that's a great segue into. Are you guys ready to open beer number 2?
Oh, we're already into it. Yeah,
Oh,
I
me
was
too.
gonna-
God.
Or you guys? No,
That
never
was-
mind. No.
Oh wait,
I'm drinking significantly
Don't
smaller
rush
glasses
it.
here.
Don't rush
Yeah.
it.
Chris,
I was not
Chris,
aware.
cream soda is code for cream soda. Sorry, buddy.
No,
Wait,
no.
are we? The question is, are we downing these? Are we getting hammered tonight? Or
I am. I don't know about you guys. Listen, you do whatever you want. You're an
Yeah.
adult. Listen,
from home.
you know?
No. If that's the game, then
Well, that's why I
We're in
gave you
for
like half bottles. Yeah, it's not because I was bad at pouring. It's because I didn't want to get you guys too drunk. Clearly.
Thank you.
You
knew about
but
the
you know, you
kids
guys.
and everything.
Yeah, totally. Which we're going to talk a little bit about family too, because we have, I think, different phases of family in this chat right now, which is super interesting to me. But before we do that, I just want to close the loop on just the band intro here. So, you guys,
Yeah.
throwbacks. You play throwbacks to songs that you heard on the radio when you're growing up. Your best friend Brandon plays drums for you guys. So shout out to Brandon. How long have you guys been together as the Throwbacks?
Chris and I have been together for 33 years.
Oh, you guys are related. I didn't know that. Is
Chris,
that
we
what that
lost
means
your
when you have the
video?
same last name?
You lost my video. My video.
We lost your video.
I got you.
Um,
No, you're good. You're on my screen. You're good. He might have lost you, but I got you.
Oh, maybe I lost you. Yeah, Chris and I have been playing music since for basically until we started. Once I started playing guitar, and I was like, "Hey, Chris, here's guitar." We were in choir together, singing and learning how to be better musicians and stuff like that. So we met Brandon probably about 10 years ago now. Chris,
Yeah, about so.
is he dead?
I can hear him. He might be
All
dead
right.
for you,
Yeah.
but I hear him. Yeah. That's good for
He's
you.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Go ahead, Chris.
No, we met him 10 years ago. What do you mean, go ahead? Yeah, we met him 10 years ago. He played for us in the American Idol, and we transitioned. So as the Throwbacks, we've been playing 5 years or so, or
Yeah.
this year will be 6, going into 6 years or so.
Yeah.
But,
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been, we've done some funny things that, like, I don't know if you guys had previously played in originals bands, but, like, the worlds don't necessarily intertwine of, like,
No.
the things you end up doing as a cover band that you never did as an originals band.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah.
the situations you find yourself in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
You know what's crazy too is like so my last band before this was a cover band that also wrote originals. So we did an EP that was pretty decent, and it was weird because I would talk to cover band booking agents, and I would say, "Yeah, we're a cover band. This is what we play. We also have some originals," and they would immediately say, "Oh, well, these bars don't hire original bands."
All right, peace
That's
out.
not who we are. And it was so
I feel
weird
like
how.
I feel like you're playing the game. They're real good.
Yeah.
Well, it was so weird how, like, as a cover band, like, if you write originals, all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, now you're an original band. It's like, no, we're still what we are. And so, like, towing that line, we played both kinds of shows. We would play the basement of Penny Road Pub, and then we would play Fire Bar. It was, like, such a different, like...
What was your band's name?
314 on Main Street.
Oh, that is the worst name.
Yeah, it was not good. It was so bad.
No
you're
hesitation
right.
from Josh.
Look, so here's what I'll say, though.
I'm following Emily's lead.
So here's what I'll say though. It was a bad name, but the musicians that I played with were really, really good writers.
Shout out
Like,
to Andrew. Shout out to John.
we-
Hey, guys.
We had
Hey,
we
boys.
had like our differences, like in other like places and other ways, but they were really, really good songwriters. So I feel like as our originals were pretty good, but like we just couldn't keep it up. And then that name, man, like no one could
That name
remember.
was terrible. By the way, did you know that you can change your name? You don't have to do it legally. There's no court involved.
it's
Like, you
true.
can just hold a meeting and just be like, hey, cool, that name
There
sucks.
is something involved.
Now
There is
we're
something
this.
involved though. So if you want to change it on Facebook, which we tried to do at one point, you have to show proof like proof of your business. So we had to show like plumbing records or something, like a water bill. And I was like, dude, we're not even an LLC. Like, what are we supposed to show? Like, what is this?
Mom,
like,
can I get a water bill? Like,
yeah. I need a water bill, and can you white out our names?
right? Yeah.
That is beyond strange.
Super weird. But no, like you're totally right. Like when you're in an original band versus a cover band, you experience two totally different worlds. And I was in a band that experienced both at the same time, and it was very strange. We'd be on a bill of like 4 bands playing 30 minutes each, and then we'd be on a bill just by ourselves playing for 3 hours. It was really weird.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, don't let me forget about the first show we ever played.
That's exactly what I was gonna. I'm like, you're gonna tell me that story right now because that's what I was gonna ask. So what was your first show? So I'm gonna ask you 2 questions, but the first one is, what's the first show you've ever played? Shout out to Brian Bridges, by the way.
Josh, I can do the first show we ever played. I don't know if you can.
I can definitely do the first show.
Oh, is this like tell us about our first date, like the married couple? Like, is that where this is gonna go right now?
Let me write it down.
Yeah.
Wait, are you?
How far into the story is the first kiss? Is it like right at the beginning? Is it at the end?
Immediately going hot and heavy. Hot and heavy.
When you know, you know.
You know.
Yeah.
Chris, wait, what do you mean? Do you want to talk about the first show as the Throwbacks, or the first show, like your first show, or?
Yeah. Do you remember our first show?
As the Throwbacks?
No, ever.
As brothers. As brothers in
you'll
arms.
notice constant tension between Josh and I. It's something that everyone that's ever played with us knows by heart. Like Brandon is a master diffuser. He literally would be like, "All right, guys,
It's better than a
guys,
masturbator.
Right. There will be
Twin
at least 3 fights during this stream. So don't, mom and dad aren't fighting. This is part of the deal. You guys signed up for this. I'm sorry. This is part of it. When
This
you're
is
twins,
the content
you
our
fight.
viewers pay for, by the way.
This
we
is
wanna
it.
see, like, I can only hope that one of you gets in a car and drives to the other's house and it turns into a fist fight on cam. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. But like,
The only time I've ever been punched in the face was by Chris.
That's true. That's true. That's a true story.
but it happens so often.
Yeah, now.
But yeah, I feel like our first of all, I have to comment on Brian Levine, who's just literally in the chat antagonizing me. But anyway, our first show, I feel like, or at least if I remember correctly, was at Park Place in Crystal Lake.
Okay, there you go.
It was me, you, John Olson, and Marchian Forty. We called ourselves Second Chance. And it was so bad that like we had to be driven to the show. We wore Boy Scout uniforms. It was I think we just played all covers. Maybe
It was all
one
covers.
original or something.
No, it was all covers. We played
Why
like
did you
Less
do
Than
either of
Jake and
those things?
Weezer and
Yeah.
Who knows?
Why did you get driven to the show, and why were you wearing those? Like, was that a choice, or was
that
all,
like
that was like all that was clean that day? Like,
Listen,
Like,
we were 30 years old and we got driven to the show. And
This was last
Yeah.
year.
this is right before
This was
COVID.
literally-
Yeah.
just a couple months right before COVID hit. Yeah. No, we were 8th grade, freshman. I don't know, somewhere in there.
So who played what?
No, it was like 8th grade. Chris had to be on bass, right?
Absolutely. I was trying to think if I have the bass down here. You can see it's a Dan Electro Longhorn, and it's covered in stickers and stuff and just stupid stuff. Actually, our brother-in-law took me bass shopping when we were kids to go pick that up. Ironically enough.
I do like the Scout backs, Andrew. That's
Amazing.
I do like that.
Shout out
good.
to John. Thanks for tuning in.
Real quick. Yeah, shout out to Donnie. Shout out to Donnie Rowley, one of the best sound engineers we've like ever worked with.
Hit
I
it,
love
Donnie.
that guy.
Where's he at? Where does Don operate out of?
Donnie's the main sound engineer for Modern Day Romeos. He operates.
Oh, right
on-
on.
Rock and roll.
Yeah,
Cool.
so he's
And
out of
if
Illinois.
you've
And he
ever
was
talked-
16 Candles for a while.
If you
Oh,
ever
right on.
talk to Donnie, he has he's the best storyteller I've ever met. I mean, the guy could tell
Honestly.
you stories for. I mean, we're not going to talk about Donnie now because we could just do a show with Donnie where me and Connor just listen to him tell stories.
We totally
solved that
should.
problem.
Donnie's
Yeah, you solved that
fantastic.
But yeah, I
But
think
anyways,
that was
your
our
first show.
I think that was our first show, if I remember correctly.
and it went poorly, you said?
I think it was in my mind.
Yeah.
It was great.
Best show we ever played, probably.
In my
It was back when we still cared.
Chris, we had choreography, if I remember correctly.
No way, you did not.
That
In your
sounds about
little
right. That
Boy
sounds
Scout
about right.
uniforms?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god.
Listen,
Sure.
you have,
This is the
you have
greatest
to
thing ever.
remember, we were in choir all for our entire life. So choreography is a thing that comes with everything that we do.
Marcanti mom and dad, if you got pictures of this or video, please send it my way immediately.
Yeah, I would love all of this.
Sure,
You know.
somewhere. But then, Josh, go to our first show as the Throwbacks. How absolutely hilarious
Yeah.
that was.
So we one of the last things we did as the American Autumn is we recorded a little EP with Dan Precision of 88 Fingers Louie fame.
Yeah.
He runs a studio out of his house in.
You got to know who
Park
Dan
Ridge.
Precision is if you're in
Of
the
course.
punk game in Chicago.
Dude,
Of
I
course.
think you just made Adam's day.
Yeah.
with
Dude, it
that.
was Dan is amazing.
It
was
was
a
literally
really great time.
The best experience that we've ever had in the studio. We recorded our first record at Gravity downtown with a guy named George Medic, and he was really awesome, funny, awesome, whatever. But Dan is like on this whole other level of like, he'll just throw random shit into your song and go like, I don't know, what do you think about this? How do you want to try
Yeah.
this?
He's like a mad scientist. Like,
He
was amazing.
literally his nickname is Mr. Precision because that's what he is.
Yeah. Anyway.
So Bomb Shelter, shout out to Bomb Shelter.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone in and around Chicago wants amazing recording for a very good deal, you literally can't go wrong. So anyway, so we had like a working relationship with him, and we were kind of just getting started as the Throwbacks. We had about 15 songs put together, and he put something out on Facebook to see if he was looking for cover bands to play with his cover band. It was a Minor Threat cover band called Major Threat. So I don't know if they still do anything because 88 has been so popular these days. But anyway, so I think it was their first show as well. So we went down to
The Liars Club.
Liars Club in the city. And we were like, yeah, we'll totally, sign us up. We'll be there. It was great. So we got there, and we were the first band on, and it was horrible. It was bad.
It was so bad.
It was really bad.
I think we. You're
like you guys
You guys
bombed, or
take
it was bad in
forever.
that sense?
I think if memory serves me correctly, we did well. We played well. Like we were tight for our first show, but we bombed for the audience harder than I've ever bombed in my entire life.
Like they
as
just
a
completely
performer.
didn't get it, weren't into it at all.
Yeah, like everybody's face was this.
so pretext.
Trying to figure you out, basically.
The
It's like playing a show
Liars
in
Club, I don't know if
Japan.
you guys-
100%.
I don't know if you guys ever been to the Liars Club downtown.
I used to work across the street from there.
It's a grungy punk rock venue. Like the people
Yeah.
that hang out in there are like the best of the best when it comes to grungy punk rock. And somebody, anyway, that doesn't matter. So before I start going off on tangents, but anyway, you like gutter punks, street punk, anything you can imagine. And here we are in tuxedo blue T-shirts,
Playing oldies.
playing a and the place was ass to elbows. I mean, it was full of people, and literally, typically you get like the guy or that's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Nothing, zero, absolutely nothing. And then there was a guy that came up front, and he was like dancing to the music. He was like trying to dance along to it. And later on, after the show, we talked to him about it. He's like, "Oh, I just felt bad for you guys. I was trying to give people something else to look at."
You
Oh,
forgot
the
the line
pity
where
dance.
you forgot the line where we were like, "Oh man, thank you so much for having a good time." And that's when he was like, "No, I was not having." A
No,
good
I was
time."
just drunk. Yeah.
We literally, that's what we're like loading our gear out. And this is the best part about the venue. There's no like side door. There's no nothing. You're loading your gear out, loading in. There's no backlining. There's no nothing. It's in and out. You're done with your set. You have to go through the entire bar. So we're literally like wheeling
like a
our
walk of
stuff
shame.
through. It's a
Yeah.
complete walk of shame. People are like, have a good night.
Don't
Take
come
care.
back. Yeah.
Don't come back. That was bad.
That's like one
so
of the
that
things
was
I miss the most from Chicago, right? Is those places like that, because there's a dime a dozen bar like that in Chicago. Like, did you guys ever play at like the Mutiny, or have you ever been to the Mutiny? I don't even know if that
Been to
place
the
still
Mutiny.
I've
exists.
heard.
And yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's been a while.
yeah, I mean that place is amazing. Like, they don't pay you; they just give you 2 pitchers of Jack and Coke. And it's not Jack; it's some whiskey product that goes in Coke.
Right.
But that's like that's what you get for playing there.
It's like not even as good as Jack.
No, but you don't care because you get a. Have you ever drinking, or I don't know what's the
I've never
pastime?
I've
Have you ever
I've never
imbibed?
drinking
That's
in my
what I was-
life.
Have you ever imbibed rum and Coke or whiskey and Coke out of a pitcher, because I have.
Not out of a pitcher.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience. I recommend it. Also recommend drinking whiskey out of a bowl if you ever do that. If you don't have clean glasses, which was my predicament at the time.
Yeah.
But anyways,
you can drink whiskey out of about anything. It cleans it itself. That's the best part about
exactly.
it.
It's true.
Whiskey is just Lysol that you consume. That's all it really
100%.
is.
So that's so incredibly telling.
You-
So
That was our first show.
So your first show, nobody was into it, and like I said, certainly you've come a long way since then. Whenever you guys play, me and Connor are always in the front, like fanboying hard. But Connor fanboyed so hard, he hired you guys to play his wedding. So tell me about that.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Connor had a
Connor,
beautiful...
you tell us, Connor, about playing your wedding.
So did they do like all of the music? Like, did they do the processional and the recessional as well, or was it just the entertainment?
Yeah. So that's what I found really cool was that they not only did they did everything from cocktail hour to the actual ceremony to the reception, or not just the reception, dinner, and then dancing in the reception. And
Amazing.
it wasn't live until like the actual dancing part, but what was cool is that they had the speakers in the system and everything, and they could like MC the whole thing. So it was like it's 100 times better than a freaking DJ, because you're getting a live band during the dancing, and then you're getting them also MCing everything else.
Yep.
Like it was a really cool experience. Like I really like that.
So what?
So
what
I
did you
don't,
guys do?
Connor, I don't know if you remember this or not.
Are you going to ask him if he remembers his wedding day?
No, no. A very specific part.
Remembers.
a very specific part that haunts me that I don't know if it affected
my.
you at all. So we got rain. We got that rain.
Yeah, we had a ton of rain, and we had to move
so
the wedding inside.
We had to scrap all plans and move it inside that building.
Mhm.
And I said, as you guys do as musicians, you're like, okay, I got to get in that room and make sure everything's working before everyone else gets there.
Yeah.
So I bring
what's going.
everything in there. Everything's working just fine. I'm like, great. Okay, I'm nervous because like people are filing in, and I'm like, okay, but I tested this. It's gonna be fine. And all right, get the cue. Cue's good. Okay, great. Silence. Hang on, everyone. Sorry. So sorry. Yeah.
working.
So sorry. Why don't we just go? It like haunts me to this day that happened. I don't know.
How dare you have
It's
one
such
technical issue through the entirety of a wedding, you bastard.
Well,
you monster.
It was the
You ruined
music.
his wedding.
It was the music. It was the music for the ceremony.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there and I'm like, well,
Emily said
whatever.
it's okay. Emily said it's okay, so
yeah,
that's
I'm
fine.
like,
So
I'm marrying
is that
my
why
best friend.
Emily is
Who-
the best
who
hall,
cares?
by the way? Because she said it's okay? She wants to know.
Damn it!
Yeah.
I was wondering how long we were gonna go before that, and we went 39 minutes.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Shout out to Danielle. Hi, Danielle. Thanks for joining us.
Hey,
always.
Danielle.
Danielle.
I don't know if you guys know who Bill Burr is, but he makes this joke about
Yes.
how you have to screen uncomfortable situations out of your mind when you think
Yeah.
about them.
100%.
Where you're just like, you're driving down the street and you're just like, ah, ah,
That's mine.
ah.
Did
That's what
any of
Josh
you
does.
watch The Mandalorian?
Oh yeah, when he showed
Bill,
up in the
because Bill Burr's in an episode.
Yeah.
That seems so wrong to me. I haven't seen it, but just Bill Burr in the Star Wars universe, like, just seems a little.
He's from Space Boston. That's where he's from. He's from
That's
Space Boston.
exactly right.
Ah, come
It's as
on.
awkward
Boston?
as it seems.
All right, homies, we're on to beer number 2.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, can I
All
throw
right,
a
you're on
timeout
beer number
out
2.
there?
All right. Also, shout out to Aaron Kleinert for joining us. What's up?
Aaron's our boy.
guy. Aaron's our guy.
So we had, getting back while we're cracking these open, we had an absolute blast playing your wedding, Connor. And to this day, we thank you for
Absolutely.
having us. And
It was beautiful.
No, dude, you guys were awesome.
I hope that we. Oh, let's talk. We should also talk about one of the most fun parts was actually getting to play together.
Yes. Yeah, I decided to play a song at my wedding. I asked them if they would allow me to do it. So we did literally the Sweet Home Alabama, the
So that was
Back
the
in
only song that got played the
of-
whole
No, no,
wedding.
no. The Back in Black of pop punk, the Sweet Home Alabama of pop punk, all the small things. So I got to play that, and I played it with my wedding ring on because it felt weird to just like take it off after immediately getting it on that day. And
Hold
man,
this.
that was odd.
Yeah, just wait till you got to go to the gym and stuff. It's weird.
Oh, dude,
Super weird.
I mean, I take it off every show that we play because like we play 3 hours, and then I'm like, oh my god, my hands are swelling, and they're sweaty and crap, and it hurts because the stick is hitting it because the way I hold my sticks. And then
So-
like
That would have
but,
been
like,
a great
during
band name,
breaks-
by the way, for your pop punk band. The way you hold your stick,
Sweaty fingers.
or Sweaty
Sweaty
Fingers would have been good too. Yeah.
Sweaty Fingers Louie.
Basically anything
Fingers
except for what is it, 314 on May Street or whatever it was. You could have literally been anything.
Ooh.
Could have been this
Literally.
band name
Anything
sucks, and
else.
it would have been
It
better.
wasn't my name. It wasn't my name. So like, real quick backstory on that. We started by doing a Blink-182 tribute, and for some reason, the guitar player was like, "Yeah, this is the name that I have." And I was like, "All right, whatever. I don't care," because it was like a one-off show. And then we were like, "Well, we've already got this thing, and we're already doing it. How about we just keep it?" And I was like, "Okay."
That's
Great.
how it happens.
And that's how crappy band names stick around.
It's
true.
That's
Well-
True.
how you don't change your name. But
Instead-
anyways, beer.
yeah, let's
Let's talk about
let's
this
do a
beer.
Cheers, yeah. Cheers, guys.
Oh, cheers. Cheers,
Cheers,
everybody
cheers
hanging
to
out.
everyone in the crowd there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks
I need
everyone.
another one.
Once
This
again,
has
Alright,
gotta
I'm
be
gonna-
the
this is
PB&J.
this is Backstage with TGTN. We have the Throwbacks, both Chris and Josh Marcanti, with us today. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please share with your friends. Say hi. Shout out to any of us that you may have hung out with before. We love you all dearly. And if you got any questions, throw them at us. We're just sitting here chatting. So,
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about this beer.
Yeah, this has got to be the PB&J beer. I'm assuming.
Yeah. I was.
This is
I didn't want to.
very-
I didn't want to give you any hints, but I feel like it doesn't matter because the minute you smell this, you're just like, yeah, I know where this
So
is
what's
going.
interesting about it
Yeah.
is that
This
it
is fan-
smells peanut buttery, but it tastes. It's got like a tart, kind of very light framboise thing going on to
Right?
it, which I really dig. Yeah,
That's really cool.
This is
you're right that I've never tasted anything like this before. When we were chatting about it, you're like, you're not gonna know what this is gonna be.
I can't decide if it's a success or a failure. It's something, and
I'm
it's,
into it.
It's certainly not what I was going for, but I mean, if Josh likes
I
it,
think-
then I'm gonna label this a success. If Josh likes it,
That's a
2
win.
out of 2, baby.
yeah, 2 out of 2. That's good.
It
Guys,
is,
I'm gonna open a brewery. By the way, it's gonna be called My Doorstep, and yeah,
Ian, we don't know it.
Brewing.
Ian, we don't know each other, but Peanut Butter and Jelly Time is literally my 2 kids' favorite song. So it is Peanut Butter and Jelly Time.
it totally is. It's more jelly than peanut butter time, but you know, it's still peanut butter jelly time with a baseball bat.
It's true. I
Where-
think Connor's talking to Emily.
Where are you at?
Oh, he's on mute. He's on mute. Oh,
Oh,
now
he's
he's talking to
literally
Emily. Let's make fun of Connor.
But this is an absolutely delicious beer. I think
thank you.
flawlessly executed. Yeah. Nice.
Did you get a little more carbonation in this one? I hope.
This one's got a little bit more. Although I think this one's probably better that it lays a little bit flatter. If I'm being honest.
I think stouts in general kind of to me taste
Yeah.
better with lower carb.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it.
Without a doubt. No. It's
Good.
delicious.
I like how
Nice
full your
and
glass is. By the way, I should mention this guy is deceptively alcoholic.
Oh, good.
So I
Can I
think
take a
this-
very
guess? Can I
Yeah.
take a guess?
yeah.
9%.
I think
Ooh.
you're spot on actually.
Really?
I think it's like basically like 8.5 or
sweetheart.
9%. Yeah. So very good.
Uh,
By the way,
my,
I
uh,
taste no
I need
alcohol.
somebody to deliver beer.
My COVID tolerance has dropped significantly.
Same.
Good.
So
We're halfway
so
through the
I
show,
do-
so
I
you're
do-
almost there. You know.
I do feel my cheeks heating up.
Good.
So we're getting there.
I see
He's
you
turning
looking
red.
a little blushy.
Yeah, he is.
A little blushy.
We started talking about weddings.
Cheers,
He started
John
blushing.
Morrison.
Yeah.
Hey, so I got a-
yeah.
I got a question for
Go
you
ahead.
guys. What is your favorite show? Because we were talking about shows, about your first show and about
Ooh.
playing the wedding. What is your favorite show that you've ever been to, original or cover band? And don't try to butter us up. We know we're good, but come on.
You can say
Favorite-
this
favorite
show that
show
you're
you've
on
ever
right
been
now
to.
too. By the way, Backstage with Thero's Neighborhood also counts.
but like one that like sticks out in your mind where you're like, damn, that is phenomenal. Just great show.
JP.
Oh, Nicole, thank you so much.
Shout out to
That is a very
Nicole.
nice compliment. Chris, go first.
Thanks, Nicole. You know what? I feel like I like big and small shows. what I will say is I've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of shows. The one
Calm
that,
down. Don't
got-
celebrate it. Jesus.
Brag.
How many
Yeah,
shows?
a
You,
little thick
pull out
there.
those stubs. Why don't you?
thousands.
Thousands
one-
of shows.
The one that really got out of this world got me was seeing the Foo Fighters at Wrigley Field
cool.
2 years ago or so, and it was
That's
like
a good one.
it was when Dave Grohl had a broken leg, and even that guy sitting in a chair, like just going like this all night long. It was absolutely unbelievable. Like the venue helped. It was seeing the Foo Fighters. That's probably the best like huge show that I've ever seen. Josh, what do you think?
Nice.
All right, I got two.
No, it's supposed to be one.
I know, but it's
No, it's
one's
fine.
gonna be
You can say 2.
one's gonna be original and one's gonna be cover.
Don't fight
No,
him
you
over
give
Chris.
it- We're strict
This,
here.
this is a
If you
cover.
give him an inch, he's gonna take. He's gonna.
Every
I
time.
think I could take Josh.
I think you could. I think
You all, any one of you could take me. Any one of you could take me. I'm very spindly. Favorite show was The Refused at
Yes.
Yes.
Chris, where was
Congress.
that? Congress Theater.
Is that when they did the reunion, or was that
The
before?
reunion.
Yeah.
That was the reunion.
First
Were you at that
reunion.
one?
I was not, but I was a
Oh,
huge
God.
Refuse fan in the 90s. So
So, Refused is one of those bands for me that, like, as I was getting into music, I just kind of flipped my brain on what music could kind of be. So when they were coming back around, I had to see it, and my God, if they put out we were up in the nosebleeds, and
It was amazing.
that energy, I was like ready to jump down,
and that's like 10
I-
years,
just
like 10,
yeah.
15 years after their prime. You know,
for
That's
sure,
the prime,
for
yeah,
sure.
without a doubt. Oh,
just
so good.
imagine
Oh.
What's the say?
like if you'd seen them, at the end of the 90s into the early 2000s. I forget when the what was it, the Shape of Punk to Come or what?
Shape
whatever.
of Punk to Come.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that album was a prophetic album. They made an
It-
album that
yeah.
everybody hated, right? And it
Mhm.
literally sounded like everything that came out 5 years later. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But at that time, everybody hated it. It's insane. It's just such a genius record in so
You
many
know
ways.
You know what's so funny about that is Daft Punk kind of did the same thing. Like they were like 5 years ahead of the funk revival that happened in pop music.
For sure.
And so that album, what was the name of that album that they did where they had that?
The one with
their second album,
yeah,
the one with what's his face who sings Happy.
Pharrell.
I can't remember his name. Pharrell, yeah, the one with Pharrell. That album is like when it came out, people were like, I don't know about this. And then 5 years later, Uptown Funk is like the biggest hit of all time.
I don't think that's that big of a stretch for Daft Punk though, and I know we're straying off the punk territory here a little bit, but Daft Punk's always
Whatever.
had a little bit of like funk and like real instrumentation and real musicianship to it. That's been sort of their thing from the inception of Daft. I say this as a huge Daft Punk fan through the years because I've been to my dance party or two in my day.
A dance
I've listened to
party.
Around the World I've been around the world a few times. You know what I mean?
Around the world.
Second
Yeah.
show.
Cover band. Here's a compliment to you guys. So I remember Connor reaching out to me via Facebook and saying, "Hey, maybe let's do a show sometime, or let's see if we can get something to go in." And after looking you guys up, I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Let's definitely do this." Even though, we're kind of on opposite-ish spectrums, but not really. Like, whatever. Let's just let's have a good show. So I remember seeing you guys the first time, just like us, right? I was like, okay, yeah, like I see what they're doing, and I like it. Obviously, this is like the stuff that you guys play is definitely the stuff that that was like all throughout. That was my high school, just like that was all Chris's high school. That was all post high school. Like that was the music we listened to and still do to this day. But one of the more recent ones that I saw you guys at, which was I don't remember what the theme was, but it was at Nelly's, where you played with Emo Parade and I think it was just
Yeah,
two
it was-
guys, right?
Yeah, it was just
Yeah,
us.
it was
We
just
did-
us. We
I
did
think
a
it was
Yeah.
pop
dual
punk versus
headlining
emo.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bell, yeah.
You guys,
Emo.
you guys came out the gate and just blew the doors off. It was like, I was like, God damn, it was really.
It was my
It was-
cape,
it
I'm
was
sure.
super
Right? It had to be the cape. I
It was
wearing.
the- it was the
cape. If I remember right, we opened that night with "Feelin' This," and I remember that specifically because I know that Blink-182, ever since they reunited in 2009, I saw them on that tour with Panic at the Disco, Chester French, and Fall Out Boy. It was right before Fall Out Boy's hiatus. Ever since then, they've been opening their shows with Feeling This pretty much every single time. And I was like always kind of weirded by it. I was like, really, is this the song? And then when we started playing it more, I was like, you know what? We're going to do this. We're going to open a couple shows with it. And when we opened that show, I went, okay, I get it. I get it.
I see why they do this.
Such a fun song to open with. It was great.
No,
also,
you guys,
thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was really, you didn't have to name us specifically because I know you've seen better cover bands than us, but we certainly appreciate it. I'll take the compliment.
Well, seriously.
Well, the truth about being in a cover band is that, like, Chris and I like to go scope out other shows for other cover bands. A, to, obviously, like, build out the network, but B, like, to see, how other bands are doing it, how other bands are pacing out their sets and what how their set list ebbs and flow, how they control the crowd, how they blah 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 blah. So seeing you guys go from like that development from like, okay, from the first time we saw you to like that time when I saw you, and it was like, geez, it was really good. It was really, really impressive. So
that's really nice because I feel like we also radically changed our discipline. So we became a lot more disciplined in terms of how we were approaching practicing. And I actually want to hear you guys talk a little bit about this. So, nobody ever really sees what goes on outside of a show, right? People come and see a show. They have a good or a bad impression. But for us, the reality is, 99% of our time is not playing shows. It's sitting at home running scales, thinking of stuff we could do, discarding thousands of ideas that we could be doing and then maybe settling on one, or maybe trying to do 10 things poorly, and then and I think that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to do 10 things poorly, and we decided to narrow it down to like 3 or 4 things that we did well. So how do you guys how do you handle that, right? When you talk about the oldies, you have a limitless catalog of things to choose from. How do you decide what sounds good, what doesn't sound good, and then how do you bring that to practice into working it into a song that you guys can then perform?
Chris, I talked for the last 20 minutes. You can go ahead.
Yeah, take the hard question.
Yeah,
tell me your secrets.
Don't tell him anything. Turn off the feed. Cut the feed.
Right.
Where are your treasures?
This is where all the magic happens down here. No, it's a great question. I think for us, what's funny about it is like the first thing we tried to suss out is like the bangers, right? The ones that the lit songs, all the small things, the ones that no matter what you do,
the free birds of the oldies.
Free birds of the world. No matter every time we play "Satisfaction" by the Rolling Stones, it gets a people wake up and pop up, right? So the first thing we tried to like suss out the real
Shout.
big banger. Shout, obviously, yeah.
I love your version of Shout. From the first time I saw you guys, it struck me.
And right now, I think the one that I've got on you guys can't hear it, but the cover of I Get Around just finished in my ears. That's one that really sticks in my ears too every time. I think that was the first song I heard you guys play. That just I actually like stopped drinking my beer and I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like this is
Well, thank you. That is too
thank
kind.
you. That's
thank you very much.
Yeah. So we and what's funny is so now like our practices are really just like, hey, we should do Diddy, and then we'll look it up real quick, and then 5 minutes later we haven't learned, because all the songs from the 50s and 60s are either in some sort of pentatonic minor, blues pentatonic minor scale, where like it's just the same dun 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 dun
like a 1-4-5 or something like that. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly it. So it's literally just figuring out what key it's in. Then, so we play. This is going to get nerdy. We play in drop D standard or D sharp standard. So we play a whole half step down, because mine and Josh's vocal ranges lend to that a little bit better. So we go like, this is the key it's in. Here's the key for us, and then we just run with it every time. And then we scratch it out. Like I'm sure you guys do the same thing, where you like show up to a show, you play a new song, you run the set or 2 shows, and you go like, that one's not working. One of the ones that for us is like stopped working is Sweet Caroline. Like we play Sweet Caroline.
Really?
Maybe it's just how we
So
play
all right, hold on. This is where I should pause for this story.
Yeah, you can't say that, by the way. Last time I said anything bad about Sweet Caroline, I got crucified in the chat. So, Josh, you better save your band's reputation here.
I can't believe that song doesn't go well. Wait. When do you play it? When
hold
is
on,
it in
hold
the
on.
set?
I'll tell you. So,
That's gotta be at the end.
as you guys will know this part, how if you ever listen to a comedian talk on a podcast, they always talk about like jokes and like working out the jokes on stage. And even if you want to live and die on this joke, if it doesn't work in the crowd, you got to drop it. It doesn't matter how married to it you are.
That's right.
You got to drop it.
Yep.
Right.
So Chris hit on a point. We have to look for the bangers. We have to look for the ones that are we are fighting a thing that is less known. So we try to pick out the most popular songs of all time. Chris's argument was, let's do Sweet Caroline. My argument was, let's not.
I mean, in terms of most popular songs of all time, Sweet Caroline has to be on that list.
So
yeah.
So we were at somewhere, and Sweet Caroline came on, and
Even
200 drunk people were singing along, and I was like, fine, we'll do Sweet Caroline. Let's try it. So we made our own version of it, whatever. And we usually play it. You want to get we are booze salesmen, so the booze has to be flowing, right? Everyone's got to be feeling it a little bit, a couple beers deep, and then you bust out Sweet Caroline because you want everyone to be drinking along with it.
Of course.
It's just never worked.
Not one.
I don't.
Guys, I gotta say, it's not the song. I feel like there's something there. I think it's because you guys don't feel this, and this is my problem with it too, right? I can't play. I just don't. I hate the song so much that anytime I perform it, it's like 3 chords, right? Anytime I perform it just sounds bad because I hate the song so much. I can't play it well.
So I have a little piece of advice, and I'm not gonna say anything beyond this, because I feel like it's too inside baseball based on what I used to do for work. Go to a Modern Day Romeo show, and watch them play Sweet Caroline, and then that's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Because,
that's fair.
Because
that's great.
That's like
shout out to Modern Day Romeos if you're watching.
Yeah, shout out to Modern Day Romeos, and also shout out to Scott Diedrich, who I met because of the Modern Day Romeos and is currently in the chat. Sup, Scott?
Sup, Scott?
Scott.
Also, shout out to Aaron because former Illinois Institute of Art. Caroline.
I will also.
It's so weird though, because that song, like, I can't listen to the studio version, but there are live versions by other bands that sound fantastic. But the studio version, the original one, I listen to it and I go, it doesn't have the oomph. It just doesn't have what I want.
Touching me, touching you.
God. I'm already clenching. I hate it. So much. I feel like you said something that was really interesting though. So, when you're in a cover band, you have to know when to let things go, right? Like, things are things, and you're working to the crowd. Your entire job is to play what the crowd wants to hear, right? And the difference in an original band for me is, it's the complete opposite. You're trying to make things a thing. You're like trying to make fetch happen, right? And you're fetch, and it's never gonna happen. But you're trying.
You're trying to make fetch happen,
right? It's never gonna be a thing. Happen. It's not gonna happen. But that's like your job in an original. It's a horrible job, by the way. That's why we all play covers, because we just we couldn't make fetch happen. So
we're not. The thing I always say is we're not artists anymore. We are entertainers.
That's true.
Entertainers and beer salesmen.
And beer salesmen. Rockstar cosplay.
Oh, that's good.
Well, also, so on songs that didn't work for us, one of them, so there's one that we played where, so there's a band called Louder Now who does emo and pop punk covers, and
shout out to Louder Now.
Shout out to Louder Now. We have some crossover. We played a show with them, and they were 2 shows with them, and they were super great guys, super nice. But there was one song I remember we were learning it, and we were getting ready to play it for a show, and I saw someone from Louder Now, it could have even been from their page for all I remember, post like, hey, what songs do you want us to learn? And someone commented this song, and the replies were basically members of the band saying like, we tried like 3 or 4 times, it didn't work, and it never goes over. And I looked at it and I went, oh crap. And then we played it live.
Big mood right there.
We played it live, and it was literally just a dead room. And at our break, I went up to Emily and our table. We had like a friend's table, and I was like, hey, what'd you think of that first set? And they go, what was that song that you played? I go, oh, this. And they go, yeah, that wasn't good. We didn't like that.
What dude, I think I know what song you're talking about.
I have to know what song.
I'm pretty sure I recommend
At Your Funeral.
Yeah.
At Your Funeral by Saves the Day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like Saves the Day, so
it was
sorry.
It was one of those songs where, from the beginning, I wasn't really like I wasn't really big on it. But you know, even if you're not big on it, even if it's not like something that you want to play, you hope that you're wrong. You hope that you play it and people are like stoked on it. You're like, you know what? I'll totally give on it. Like people love it. I'll get more into it.
Yep.
But man, it did not. Dude, and after seeing that too before the show, I was like, oh no, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It was in slow motion, but I mean, it's just one. Thankfully, it was one song in a set of 3 hours. So
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I'd like to think
it was
we
one
recovered.
song and then we.
And
I apologize to
us,
Emily for
us
putting
as the people in the band, we go like, that was a disaster, and then most people go like, oh, you mean those 3 minutes 4 hours ago?
Where
Yeah,
everyone got
I
a
don't
beer.
remember. It's fine.
Hey,
Like, no,
speaking of
you don't
beer,
understand.
Are we ready for number 3?
Josh. Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. While we're opening, I was gonna say Josh will attest. Him and Brandon are like the uber optimists. No matter what show we play, I'm immediately like, "Fuck, that was terrible. That was so bad. Oh my
Me and
god,
Chris are
Josh, you
kindred
didn't do
spirits.
this. Brandon, you didn't do this. This
Yep.
is what's missing from this." And both of them are like, "Dude, it was crushing. Like, just relax about it." I'm always immediately going to the pessimism.
Same.
Here,
Same.
the last one that we had to kill was Chris is, as soon as I say this, he's gonna shed a tear, I think, or cry or poop in his pants. It's
All
Respect
three.
by Aretha Franklin.
Dude,
You had to kill that?
Yes. Thank you.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Hold on. Now
Unbelievable.
you think Respect, Aretha Franklin, like legendary song.
Yeah.
It never played. It
To be
never played.
To be fair, I think no
To
one
be fair.
To be
liked me
fair.
singing it in falsetto. I think that was the problem. I
Oh
was
yeah, no,
always
that's it.
singing
You
in falsetto.
sang.
Yeah, no, that's not.
You
good.
sang Respect and
Yeah.
falsetto, or that's a terrible idea. I haven't heard
Yeah.
this version, but I'm already telling you that I think that's a bad idea.
I liked it. By the
You've
way,
been outvoted.
Shout out to Sam Nalen, who was our bass player in our originals band, and he knows for a fact I would go off. I'd be like driving, and he knows for a fact that I'm always the pessimist
open
in
one of
every
these
time
two.
we play a show. But anyway,
Hey Sammy, love you, buddy.
There's a song I don't know if I've heard you guys play before. You may have, and I just haven't heard it. Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
That is on our short list. That is on our short list. Yeah.
That should definitely be up there.
Yeah, for sure.
I
yeah.
love that song.
Yeah, it's a great one.
I'm sorry, my wife is bringing me another beer and she's holding the cat.
Well, you got to keep up because we're about to dive into number 3.
Yeah,
I
number
do,
3 is
dude. Look
coming
at
up.
this. Like, this is my 3rd beer and I'm slow. I'm slow on this beer.
I gotta pound this real quick here. So
I don't know what I'm
I've got
it's
like
hitting
3.
hard.
I've got like 3 different beer glasses that I'm drinking from. I've got like dishes to do after this stream. By the way, it's just gonna be crazy.
Dude, I
while you
turned
guys,
28 last month and it's like my tolerance immediately went
birthday.
down. It was just like, oh,
Oh,
you're
buddy.
28 now?
oh buddy, I have
I know.
so
Oh,
many.
buddy.
I have
It's
so
worse.
many
It's just
bad
gonna get worse.
things to tell you.
oh, sweet summer child.
Yes.
Wait till your 30s.
You know how
Oh, I
like
know.
you know how like with COVID we're trying to flatten the curve, so we don't want like an exponential growth. Aging is exponential. It's not linear, brother. Like it's
True.
COVID
All
on
the way
crack.
up.
No.
Like, yeah, you're
I
all
know.
good until 29, and then 30 it just.
On a different,
nosedive.
on a positive thing that's been growing is that whenever I build something now, whenever I put something together, I'm like, hell yeah, look at these tools. So like Emily wanted to hang, she wanted to hang she wanted to mount a monitor in our second bedroom, which is like our like kind of like hangout lounge because we don't have kids, so there it is.
Hang out.
And I had to take out the drill, I had to countersink holes, I had to drill it all in, and then I had to take
sweet
the
summer child.
I had to take the whatchamacallit,
The
the
bit.
socket wrench. I had to take the socket wrench and I had to use the socket wrench. I used like a bunch of my tools and I was like, man, I want to build a fucking deck. Let's build a
Hell yeah.
Like,
Hell yeah.
I was just like ready. I was
You
like,
know what we call
damn,
that? We call that knocking on your 30s. That's what we call it.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
that feeling that DIY feeling only goes
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll send you.
That's why I started
once.
brewing beer, because I felt like I couldn't do anything. So I'm like, I'm just gonna learn a thing that will carry me into society when the world ends. I'll just be like, hey, I make beer. Like, let me into your paradise.
Come with me.
Yeah.
Dude, I called my dad once. I don't remember what I did. I don't remember what I did, but like I built something and I called my dad and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to build a deck. Is this how you felt? Is this what happened? You just one day you're just like, let's build a deck and let's like do a bunch of home projects.
Yeah, you start pulling
So
your
here-
pants up higher, and you start
Yeah.
making bad
Wear
jokes.
New Balance.
Yeah.
Here's the other version of that, the twin version of that. My dad is an engineer downtown in the city. Had been an engineer for what, 40 years, Chris?
50
I don't know,
years,
something
yeah,
like that.
He just
He's a man's man. Yeah. And growing up, he'd be like, "Hey boys, get down here."
Oh, did
And
he have
like,
the Chicago accent too? I love it.
Yeah,
Oh,
of course.
yeah.
Oh,
I love it.
And me and Chris, like, I just want to sit in my room and play video games and play guitar and like, don't bother me, Dad. So he'd be like, fix this for me. Like, he knew what he was just giving us stuff to do to learn. I was like,
right.
Dad, I don't want to learn this.
Hold the flashlight.
Cut.
You have no idea what you just triggered.
Cut. Seriously, you have no idea.
You can see his face turning redder right now.
Joshua, you're a moron. Dad, I'm sorry. I'm trying to just hold the damn light.
Hours.
Literally.
Hours of that.
This is my favorite thing that has ever happened, by the way. Just
Now-
now.
So then cut to now. Chris and I are both homeowners. I have a small woodworking business, and we're just on a weekly basis calling each other with like, "Oh, dude, I did this project," and like, "Oh, look, dude, send me pictures. Oh, what tools did you? Oh, okay, yeah, I watched this video and it taught me." Now we're both like hardcore like home improvement DIY.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I like it.
So wait, you're Connor. Welcome, brother.
Hey, real quick, shout out to Pat Kelleher who just joined the live stream.
up, Pat?
He's the
Hey, Pat.
lead singer of Wedding Band and also one of the best performers I've ever seen. Like the first time I ever saw Wedding Band was with Pat in the band, and that guy literally uses every inch of the whole stage. It's amazing to watch.
Awesome.
It just runs across the whole thing. It's so much fun.
Amazing.
I hope I didn't embarrass you and make you red in the face, Pat.
I hope he did.
We would never know.
I hope he
We
did.
would
I hope
never
I
know.
did.
Yeah.
So Shaheen, I don't know what I'm drinking here. It's
Yeah.
very
Oh, let me
tart.
pour mine.
Oh yeah. Well,
Um,
while he pours, I'm just gonna do another quick introduction. So, once
Do it.
again, guys, thanks for tuning in for Backstage with There Goes the Neighborhood. We're here with the Throwbacks. If you guys do not already like the There Goes the Neighborhood page, please do so. Also, like our friends at the Throwbacks. Next show will be 2 weeks from today with the Emo Parade. So shout out to anybody from the Emo Parade who's watching, or any fans of the Emo Parade. So we're pretty stoked about that one. So, all right, and now back to the important stuff, the beer. This is number 3. So let's see what Chris gets from this one.
Yeah.
While
I
you
don't
do
like-
this real quick, I gotta use the restroom. So
Go for it.
Ha! You sabotaged me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Josh is
did.
going. He hates sours. He hates tarts of any kind.
Ha!
Oh yeah, you can see him turning even redder.
Yeah, it's true. It's a sour of some sort. Or
Correct.
yeah. I just don't know what else is going on here. Like
Do you like it?
yeah, I mean it's delicious. Listen, I love
Josh,
sours.
Josh is not like
Ha!
What am I getting in the smell? What is in the nose? What is this?
Pain.
How much do you want me to reveal? What do you want me to tell
like,
you? How about you ask
it's like-
me a question and I'll answer it yes or no?
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, it's hazy. It's perfect. It's carbonation's perfect on it. I will tell you that. God, I feel like there's like lemon in here or something, but I'm gonna go. I'm completely lost on this one. I'm completely lost. You'll have to reveal all.
Oh, okay. All right. So, before like COVID hit, me and my wife would go to Costco every Saturday, and we would walk in Costco until we hit our 10,000 steps. This is a true story, by the way. And my favorite thing to do in Costco was walk through the juice aisle, where you'd buy like bulk juice, because all their juices have no preservatives in them, which is perfect for beer making.
It's grapefruit then.
Yep.
Nailed it.
No, not grapefruit. It is passion fruit and guava. So they had a passion fruit like nectar and a guava nectar, and I'm like, Liza, I have to buy. Like these are singing to me right now. Like I'm hearing the song of passion. I see Maui in the distance. Like I gotta buy these.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
he's been praising this beer for a while, and Emily is a huge fan of sours. I like sours.
yeah.
She's a big fan of sours, and I still need to just make a trip over to Libertyville and get something from Shaheen. Like I
So
really
good.
just
It's
need to go get it.
delicious. It's
As a-
absolutely delicious.
As a non-sour
naysayer.
appreciator,
Yeah.
as a sour naysayer,
That's what he
I'm feeling like the two things, right? Like the sour here is like anti-Josh. It's fighting me, but the citrus side of it is really good.
Yeah, it came.
I'm
through.
really enjoying that.
Good.
Nice.
It's like biting
So it's
into
not
a
it's
lemon
not
peel.
it's not like overpower sour, like to the point where it's like I don't want to drink this. Like I'm gonna finish this.
I love
But
it.
at the because I think that's what's saving it is that it's not too soury, but then the citrus like it keeps catching me in a really good way.
Well, this one's a low
Well,
ABV, so this is like your break, right? This is
Yeah.
getting you geared up
That's it
for the
for you.
last two. So
What is this,
Get
like
some-
a 3%?
I think it's like
As a sour?
4.5, something like that.
Four,
It's,
yeah.
Okay.
it's right in the range that you'd expect a sour. So this is like a working beer, you know, like you're on lunch and you're
Oh, yeah.
building a
You're on
deck,
lunch.
you know, and you just need
building a
to
deck.
cool off because the sun's really hot. This is what you
Real-
reach for.
Real quick, I want
Um,
to answer Nicole's question. She was asking
Yeah.
what songs
I'm
are
pull-
listed
I'm-
for-
Pulling that up right now, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Josh, what's next for us? We just did on our last show. What was the song that I said when we played Brower? I said no, and you and Brandon were like, "You're an idiot." Dream Lover. We played Dream Lover.
Dream Lover.
Yeah, we played with our buddies in Black Bolts, and who are shout out to the Black Bolts. They are everything that we've always wanted to be in a band, and then 10
Yeah.
times better. They are absolutely an unbelievable pair of dudes and musicians and everything like that. But we played with them, and we played Dream Lover, and I immediately I turned to Josh and Brandon. I was like, nope, that didn't work. That didn't work at all. And they both felt it. And the lead singer of Black Bolts, his name's Henry. He was literally like, "You played Dream Lover? What is going on?"
Yeah, that's the beauty about a trifecta is that
always
outvotes can
outvoted.
happen live on stage like that,
Yep.
and it's
Yeah.
fast. And when those outvotes happen, it just doesn't. There's no argument
None.
because we've all lost our fair share of votes, right? So like if I feel strongly about something, if the other two say no, it doesn't matter. It's just okay, fine.
Shut up and move
no
on.
arguments.
Yeah, we
Anyway,
can't talk about it right now. We'll
to
talk
answer
about it
Nicole's question, some ones that we really want to do, Pretty Woman, that was recently in I forget the name of that movie,
Pretty well.
very popular movie with
Pretty much.
Yeah.
no whatever. We got like Shake, Rattle and Roll, Sweet Soul
Love that.
Sweet Soul Music, Wonderful World, Ramones. The Ramones did a very cool version of that. I've been fighting for it.
That's a good one. Really good one.
Nobody But Me, This Magic Moment, Hippie Dippy Shakes. We just learned The Wanderer, Good Lovin', Money Money.
That's a couple of them.
Have
And
you
then-
guys ever thought about doing like and we've certainly had our fair share of encounters with this, but have you guys ever done like tributes to specific artists or albums?
We
Is that where
will
you're going?
talk.
Oh,
We'll,
we're going
we'll talk about that next.
Okay, yeah, cool.
One
Yeah,
of the coolest things that we've done recently was we did a medley of Grease,
cool.
which
Yeah, I
we're
love that idea.
really proud of. We basically combined, like a minute of each of the most popular songs in Grease. Now, Grease was written in the late 70s, but it's a tribute to the 50s. So we were like, yeah, let's just do it. Let's rip
Threads
it.
the needle, yeah.
So it ends up being like an 8-minute long song.
Nuts.
The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna do a here it is, a medley of girl songs. So songs written like by the perspective of women. So like I said,
Jesus Christ,
Be My Baby, It's My Party, Can't Hurry Love, Mr. Postman,
Is this 'cause you all
Mama
have
Said.
Mr. Postman.
Is this
Uh,
a daughter-inspired thing? I have to
Mhm.
ask
That's what happens when
because
we
it
have
has to be
daughters.
right. Yeah, it totally is. Right?
That's what happens when
It
you
totally
when you
is.
become when you basically have daughters and become a feminist. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like the advocate
so yeah.
for your kids, so you got to learn the perspective of women. And you're like, shit, I'm 30
True.
years behind on this. Now I better.
Way behind.
Yeah.
So when you have a list that long, you basically like what do you want to do next? How do you want to go about it? No problem, Nicole. You're very welcome. What do you think that people are going to enjoy? what do you like playing? Because ultimately, you know, you want to make sure you're having fun and conveying that on stage and um, enjoying what you do. Because if you're doing it and you don't enjoy it, then why the hell are you
That's
doing
why we can't make Sweet Caroline work, either of us. I'm telling you.
It's true.
You know what?
It's exciting.
You know what song we make work every single time though, because the crowd still sings it every single time, is Scotty Doesn't Know.
Yeah.
Like somehow that song is still incredibly popular, and I think it's like Yoel like tries to vote like to get rid of it, and then we play it, and then everyone sings it, and he's like, all right.
Really showing the underbelly of our bands here right now. Just
Oh,
like
yeah,
you know the
absolutely.
songs that are on the chopping block and
Airing grievances.
It's not
Airing
even
grievances.
actually. It's not even actually on the chopping block. It's just sort of like one person goes, "I don't want to play this," and then we play it, and everyone sings it. And it's like, all right, but that was fun though.
it's true. And
I
think
love Yoel. Yoel's great.
I'm in the. I
Shout
think I'm
out to
like
you all.
Chris, where I operate from a position of pessimism. So I'm constantly like, I don't want to play anything. I think all of these are terrible. Like, I can't play this song. I'm terrible at it. Like, I do this, and this wrong, and like the crowd's not gonna like. I'll always operate from a position of, you know, everything's horrible, and so when things go well, I'm pleasantly surprised. You know. And then when things don't go well, I can just be like, "Well, I told you so." You know, I could be.
See, I was right.
I am the most heady about literally everything. Everything rattles around in my brain for days and days and days on end as I like think through and it just ruins everything. I just think through every single angle. Here's what I'm very
why we
interested
drink.
in talking about with another cover band though. It's kind of like I know we're going right for it for the heart of it, but like what you guys think of like what's going to happen where, you know, bars are. I was reading this interesting thing the other day that like most restaurants and bars only have enough cash to stay open for like 60 days or so.
Yeah.
And like, where do you think the trajectory of cover bands is going? What you think like live entertainment is going to do? I just read this interesting thing from Dave Grohl, who was basically like, yeah, this really hurts that the live music industry is going to get like hit by $9 billion in lost profits and stuff like that. Right. So like all of that's affecting humongous bands, these huge artists and stuff. But then like small mid-tier bands, cover bands, like that don't have bars and restaurants to play anymore. What's the thing? Where do we think it's going to go?
Well, first, I'm very, very pleased and very, very happy to hear us called mid-tier band. That makes me feel great.
Yeah,
Thank you
right?
so much. I really
I was
appreciate
talking about
that.
us. I was talking about us.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
got it. Fair.
Chris, we're awesome, dude. Let's talk more about us.
So I've been thinking about this a lot. The whole you know, COVID-19 has been, you know, a thought on my mind every single day. And so I think what's going to happen, I've been seeing a lot of bands and bars already talking about doing free shows where the bands are just there to bring people in to help make the bars money. So I think for a while that's going to happen. I would say a good half a year, maybe a whole year, where bands are mostly playing for free as far as the cover band scene goes. And the cover band scene mostly operates on flat rates. Like we're paid to be entertainers. We're paid X amount of dollars to be there for X amount of time to play and sell beer and, you know, whatever. And I don't think we're going to get paid nearly as much moving forward. And I don't think that cover bands are for a little while are going to get paid at all. And it's mostly going to be out of a mutual respect of the businesses trying to help each other, right? Like the bands want to get out and play, the bands want to, you know, perform and entertain people and sell beer for the bar, and the bar wants to make money, and the bar wants to you know, get back up on its feet. We want to help each other. We want to make sure that both can survive. And I think for a while that's what's going to happen. And I don't think flat rates are really, at least like the flat rates where they are right now, are really going to exist for quite a while. I think it's going to take some time to bounce back up. And I think door deals are going to start to become a lot more common in the cover band scene. They're a lot more common in the original band scene, but I think for cover bands, it's going to start to become more common moving forward, just because of what's happening right now. Because as you said, most bars and restaurants only have enough in the bank to last for like 60 days. So I really think that for a little bit, it's going to be, let's just make sure we can survive. And then, you know, things might go back to more normal.
Yeah, I think there's I'm actually gearing up to transition full time into podcasting. I don't know if you guys caught on it. That's why I'm doing it. No, I'm trying to cut into the Joe Rogan
It's
market share
over.
since he's gone off the
As a
deep end.
white guy in the suburbs, I had to start a podcast.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm here with the multicultural approach here. I'm keeping it a little
Keeping it real.
yeah.
Exactly.
Non-white.
Yeah, keeping it like a cow modeled, and so what I think what we're gonna see is, and prior to COVID, I was a shut-in. Don't get me wrong, right? Like I just sat in my office all day long. I didn't want to see people. That's how I live my life. That's how I know how to live. So I was a huge fan of things like Twitch TV, and watching live entertainment prior to this. And I think that even Facebook was kind of gearing up for this when they acquired, VR technology and those types of things. They were trying to figure out, how can I keep people in their chairs at home and still give them an experience like a live venue, whether it's sports or music or what have you. And that's now become a necessity, right? Before it was like wouldn't it be cool? Because I'm going to come out and say it. Going to live events is really challenging, okay? And it's challenging from a time perspective. It's challenging if you're strapped for cash. It's also really challenging when you're surrounded by people and you don't want to be surrounded by people and the people around you are not respectful. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of shows are. Particularly for me, I really appreciate extreme music, right? So I'm going to like brutal death metal shows. And if you get a crowd that is really disrespectful, it's a horrible, horrible, horrible experience. But I love the music so much that I'm willing to get kicked in the face to see a show. I'm willing to get like a beer bottle thrown at me to see,
That's why you come to throwback shows, I'm imagining.
That's
But
right.
yeah.
I always come looking for a scrap. I've got a beer bottle in
Yeah.
one hand and there's like 3 knives on my person. And I'm just waiting to get into a fight with like a 7-year-old guy who's like, this song was written back in my day and I danced to my sweetie.
Dude.
to your point about disrespectful and like people being that way at shows, one of the best compliments we ever received as a band was when we played a venue that
You guys are so awesome.
Shout out to Dustin, who is also awesome.
but
I'm
like,
just kidding. Go ahead.
We played a venue that now no longer exists because they closed. So I think I can mention them by name. Gifford's Kitchen in Elgin.
Oh,
They
yeah.
told us that not only did we sell like a lot more alcohol than a much more popular band that they had there previously, but that our fans were incredibly respectful in throwing out trash and then stacking like cups. So like they would like take glasses and put them all in a pile, or like if it was in plastic cups or cans, they threw them out, and there was almost no trash on the floor. And I was told that by the booking manager at the time, and then one of the staff members who had to clean, he was like, dude, this is going to take me 5 minutes. When this other band was here, it took me like an hour.
You
just
can
to
attest
clean
to
up
this.
all the
Like,
trash.
after we get off stage, I break down my stuff, and then I literally start bussing tables. And I remember Chris looking at me like I was crazy. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, first of all, I worked in restaurants like from 16 to like 26. So I can't turn that part of me off. Like at home, I wash dishes. Like that's my thing, right? Like that's my job at home. So I'm just constantly cleaning up dishes and whatnot. I feel like that the whole thing that attracted me to punk music in the first place is sort of that community feel where we're all in it together, right? You go to a punk show, and you can talk to anybody at that show. And the metal scene kind of is like this too, and in certain ways, very different from the punk scene, but you have the sense of community. And I think that's what's really important when we ask, what's going to happen in a post-COVID world, right? And the answer is we're either going to come together as a community or we're going to fall apart. And it's really our choice, right? We can choose either path. So that's
I would say
my
most
heavy statement.
musicians are aching to coming together as a community. Like most musicians want to be like, look, let's all come together and let's work towards this, because we're all artists and we all feel these feelings, and we all want to share that in music, and we all want to share that with each other live at a show. So I feel like everybody's mostly going to come together. There's going to be a couple detractors, but for the most part, it's going to be a lot of like come together as a community, help each other out, and not just as bands, but again as bands and bars and bar owners. Like, we're both businesses. We need to work together, and help each other out in this time and figure it out.
It's going to be a different game though, right? So, the rules that we thought applied
definitely.
before are going to have to be rewritten and going to have to be rethought.
Exactly.
What do you guys think? I know you guys were kind of, doing shows, you guys were doing weddings and sort of corporate events and those types of things. So how do you guys see that playing out for you guys?
By the way, we did play a corporate event before. We played a show at Mickey Finn's. There was a corporate event for they were like a makeup company or something like that. I don't remember something like that. Back.
How'd they find?
And they
did
saw
Mickey
it.
Finn's find you guys, or did the company find you?
One of the marketing people for the company found us, and they were like, you'd be perfect.
Play a show, and then we played it. It was a hilarious time. But also shout out to Dustin, since we're talking about.
And shout out to Mickey Finn's too, right?
Shout out to Dustin.
Yeah,
Shout out-
Mickey
shout out
Finn's.
to Mickey Finn's.
Oh, Mickey Finn's. Honestly.
Also, real quick shout out to Matt Gubernick, who joined the chat, because he and I used to play in a band in high school, and he was a
hey
bass
now.
player and vocalist in a band that we played in. So, what's up, Matt? Good to see you.
I know Matt.
You know Gubernick?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
He knows
Dude,
that
it
he
would
loves
be a
that
small
beer.
world. It would be a small world.
We called him Gooby back in school.
Goobs.
Actually,
Goobs?
it was
The Goobs.
Goober.
The goober.
Your circle called him Goober. I called him
Yeah,
Gooby.
The,
Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
No. I think actually Aaron Clonard hit it right on the head. I think in-person venues are going to be a weird thing going forward. I think what you're going to see is like a lot of people trying to figure out live streaming and how to set up a good performance live. What that means is I feel like there's going to be an evolution of how bands play. And what I mean by that is we all play music in front of a group of people and we react to that group of people. Right?
Yep.
When you're playing in front of a camera to nobody or to people commenting on a chat or whatever, first of all, you're going to have somebody telling you what's going on, right? So how you set up this whole organization is going to change. But then how you so people are going to banter less, I'm assuming. You're going to go from one song to the next. Choreography is going to become a big thing. How you set up your basement or wherever your live studio is going to become a thing. I think you're going to see really high back there. I think you're going to see high quality video productions of how people are going to put on shows. You see all these things now, festivals and live stream festivals and stuff like that. That's not going away anymore. That's forging ahead into the future. I heard somebody have an interesting take on COVID, and basically that it didn't destroy anything per se. It just sped up the things that were already likely to happen. And so where people are moving to live streams and people are, because now I was just saying this to Josh the other day, Riot Fest is doing a bunch of live streams, right? And one of the bands they're putting on is at 10 a.m. on a Friday. Well, now you can set up your computer, you're doing your work, right? In the upper right-hand screen, now you're watching live streams of bands. It's not about competing for 6 p.m. anymore and trying to get people to a bar and trying to do all of these things.
Right.
It's about how do you set up and how do you organize so that 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, somebody can watch your full stream. But how do you get paid for that? More importantly, as a cover band, become very, very interesting. We saw the Wonder Years. They're now doing live streams where you pay tickets to get into the live stream. It's like $10 to get in.
It's for their acoustic tour, the Burst and Decay tour that they were supposed to do.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be really, really interesting to see kind of where this whole thing goes.
Yeah, so I don't know how it plugged into live streaming culture anybody else is, but I'd like to think that I was I was watching live streams far too early for it to be cool. And the thing about live streaming is that
So hipster.
yeah, I know, right?
Cool.
I was into it before it was cool,
Wow.
and I was
You
growing
brew
beer before it was
beer,
cool.
you do
Yeah,
vi-
yeah.
I mean,
I
There you go,
can't-
micro.
I'm literally a meme of myself right now. But for me, live streaming, the interesting thing about live streaming is the fact of frequency, right? There's a personal connection there. When you watch people who are successful live streaming, think about PewDiePie, or you think about some of the really huge League of Legends streamers, just people that literally own that market, right? They're streaming every day, literally every day, because the idea is that no matter how long that someone tunes in for, you're there for them for that specific instant that they can tune in for you. And for musicians, it's very different for us because we orchestrate an hour experience, right? We're not there to keep you entertained for 8 hours, right? This is something I struggled with when I started live streaming as a musician, which is how the hell do I play for 8 hours well enough that people want to watch and keep them entertained? It's a really, really, really different game. And then how do I do that again tomorrow, right?
That sounds impossible, yeah.
It is, and that's why a lot of people go on Twitch and they play video games, right? They build an audience and they just play video games on Twitch because that's easy. That's what I was going to do anyways.
So in the chat, Sam
Nalen.
Nalen?
Nalen.
Yeah, he said those live stream concerts have been around for at least the past 4 to 5 years, and that's totally true. But I think that also that's also part of your point, which is that it's not like this wasn't around before.
Right.
What it did though is accelerate the popularity of it. It accelerated the need for it, because it was all happening. But it wasn't all happening in everyone's zeitgeist, and now it is. And now, because it has to.
And the thing before was that people didn't know how they felt about it, right?
Right.
That's the difference.
Especially
people
in the
didn't know
music
how you felt
circle.
about us, especially about because we pride ourselves on live performance, right? Especially in the cover band arena, and I think that's what's going to really get interesting, because you're really going to have to think about how you do what you do, right? Because if you're an originals band, people are streaming in and looking for you because you're playing their favorite version of the song when the girl broke up with them and whatever, right? As a cover band, you have to think about how you do what you do. That is because now, we're not competing for 6 p.m. at the bars in Northwest Chicago anymore. We're competing for all time slots with all musicians all across the world. And by the way, also with Netflix, with YouTube, with all of these different things.
Yeah.
We're competing in a completely different market. And so how do you do the thing that becomes your ability to capture someone's attention? On the internet, it's all about value, right? To your point, Shaheen, like, how do you do as much as what you do, that can capture anybody at any moment? That's all about volume. But it's not sustainable for musicians to be on it, for 5 hours or 8 hours at 2 a.m. if people feel whatever it is. So it's going to be really interesting, I think, about how we convert and how we do these different things. I will say, and Josh maybe can talk to this a little bit more about like our future plans as a band and what we've been doing is we've always stuck to 1 or 2 shows a month and really cherry picked the shows that we were going to play because we wanted to be very specific about what we were doing. And we sort of, to the point of like, this was an eventuality that was coming into it. We talked about this months ago, if not years ago at this point. And so our plans for the band have changed a little bit for like what we're planning on doing in the future to deal with like
I think everybody's
how to
change.
How to be a band. So
to that point, there's a question that we had talked about before. It was one I wanted to make sure was okay to talk about, because it is a little heavy, but I think this was a good segue into it, which is there, for a while you guys were playing a lot more venues, but I noticed that you weren't playing venues nearly as much, and my question was geared towards, are you guys playing a lot more weddings? Are you guys playing a lot more corporate events? Are you focusing on a different market now? Or I should say pre-COVID, were you starting to focus more on a different market, and is that what you're going to continue to focus on, in the months ahead?
They're chasing that
that's a
paper,
great question. So, what?
I'm just kidding.
What did you say?
I said you're chasing that paper.
Chase that paper, son. No. So I think the answer to that is twofold. We definitely were. What's that, Chris?
You're like very pensive. You're like, well, listen, we're good. Just talk.
You want to fight? Let's have our first fight.
Our digital stream fight.
Dude,
can you hold a beer while you're doing this? Like,
yeah. All right. Here's fight number 1.
Perfect. I love it.
Chris, you drove past us today, me and my family, while we were on a bike ride.
Yeah.
And
you didn't say hi. How dare you?
You didn't even wave, guy?
I did one of these. Like, first of all, I was going 35 miles an hour. Second of all, I went one of those.
Oh, that's so fast. Yeah, that's cool. That's a wave. Hey, you know what? You know what my children understand? Subtle stares.
Did they upset? I'm sorry.
During this, I'm going to use the restroom.
Do the restroom.
Oh, we'll talk beer
During the
while
fight?
Yeah.
Can we go to beer number 4?
Yeah, I'm ready. Listen, I actually, funny story, I ran out of beer number 4, so I'm gonna drink this Huntley Helles from Moore. But I do know what that beer is, and it is It is one of my favorites that I've ever brewed.
I drank that entire sour.
I love you, Josh.
Is getting messed up. First of all, Helles is actually my favorite beer style. Just so we're.
Is that true? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
A traditional. I had a Helles in Germany once, and it blew my socks off.
Here's the other good news. I'm definitely starting to feel this.
I like that.
Josh.
Yeah.
Did you say you're feeling this? And Fate fell.
Where do we go?
Time?
Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Feeling it.
Number
We're
4.
gonna talk only in song lyrics until Connor gets back. That's actually not true.
Josh.
I do want to shout out to Sam who mentioned Axe Effects, and by the way, I'm a huge Fractal fan, and as a Fractal user, I appreciate the sentiment. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
Shaheen, you should
Okay.
talk to Sam. Talk about. He's this like I'm gonna do it. He's like this squirrely. I love Sam, but he also loves like hardcore music. I mean, I can't describe like he. You would
Finish
get
the
along with him
sentence.
extremely well. Anyway, Josh, here's what I want you to do. I want you to not smell this one. I just want you to take a big
A big drink.
There we go.
As much as you like, just fill your mouth and
All right,
switch it
here we
around
go.
a little bit, and then just drink.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Am I going to be
Let's watch
unhappy?
Josh for a second.
Here we
Just
go.
do it.
Yeah.
Big
No,
gulp.
you're
Go,
gonna
go,
be-
go,
you're
go,
gonna
go,
love
go, go, go. Swish it. Swish it.
Fuck you guys.
Of your beers? What is happening?
Oh God, it's like I had like a little bit of like nail polish remover, like it's too much.
Oh, so good.
Maybe it is too much.
Also, shout out to Mike Lago. Yeah, that's the thing you do. You do the thing you do. Anyway,
Aaron, it's happening. I'm gonna be drunk this evening. What?
Dude, same.
Poison.
It's not
Hold on.
poison. By the way, if you go blind, I'm not responsible. I don't know if I included the
Wait.
release forms.
Josh, was that a Parks and Rec reference right there?
It sure as hell was.
nice.
Poison! Sidebar, Connor.
Yeah.
I know around the time of your and Emily's wedding, you guys kept talking about The Office, and I was like on the Parks and Rec side of things.
That's me.
Hold on, having never seen The Office, I was like, I'm not an Office guy. I'm a Parks and Rec guy. COVID, in my memory, will be synonymous with The Office for my wife and myself. I've been so enjoying The Office. It's been a
so
game
great show.
changer.
So first of
My
all,
wife decided that John Krasinski is her #1 on her list. Like,
Really?
Yikes.
that's her
My
hall
favorite
pass,
thing
and I was
about-
like, fine.
my favorite
I mean,
thing about
look,
The Office
look.
was Dwight at one point in the show looks at Jim and says, "You'd look great with a beard." And now John Krasinski does look great with the beard. Like,
Yeah. Well, so two interesting things. So number one, in The Office.
Oh, God.
I'm assuming you finished the series, right? You finished The Office.
We are on season 8, about halfway through.
oh, you can't
Okay, did
spoil
you-
the ending then.
No. I'm not gonna spoil the ending. Did you get
So
to the episode where Dwight's mother died, or
Fuck.
aunt died?
No, I didn't.
Okay, sorry.
That's
So,
all right.
so in the series, in like season 8, there's a hidden pilot episode. So what they did is
I already know all about this.
Okay, so yeah,
I
they
know.
wanted to make a Dwight.
I wanted to make a Dwight show.
Yeah. And it's universally condemned as the worst episode of The Office.
Yeah. I did read all about that, and how they were trying to make the Dwight spinoff, and the fans and critics were like, yeah, this doesn't work, so let's
No.
not do it.
So, but Rainn Wilson
the
is
other thing
amazing.
I was
Can we
gonna
just
say-
all agree? He's the best.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
The other thing I was going to say though is that the guys who created The Office also created Parks and Rec, and also created The Good Place and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And Brooklyn Nine-Nine, despite airing on Fox, is actually an NBC show.
Yeah,
throughout
right.
Throughout its entire run, it's been produced and created by NBC. But they didn't air it on NBC because they didn't have time in their time slots, so
Oh,
they
funny.
put it on. So they put it on Fox, and then when Fox canceled it, they're like, "Well, I guess we'll just take it back."
All right,
That's
let's
totally
pull
fine.
this.
Yeah,
Let's
like
pull
the
this back.
guys who
To beer.
created-
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is on our list next.
Let's pull this back to beer
It's a great show.
and music.
Um,
So
to
first,
answer
first
to
thing,
answer your question, yeah.
but before I just gotta give you guys a warning. When we're drinking this beer, because Dustin just mentioned it, this is the beer that Dustin drank. He had a full growler of this beer that you're currently drinking on the last stream.
What I
So-
love about it, by the way, is that it's all. Do you do all grain brewing?
Yes.
Or do you do
Yeah.
kit brewing? So clearly, this is dry hop. If I'm saying anything, the nose is full of hops. Although it's really not that bitter. It's not. That's why I told Josh to chug it, because I was like, oh, it smells super bitter, but it's really not. It's really not that bad. From
Josh
a
is not
bitterness
enjoying it.
standpoint.
He's not getting that citrus taste that he enjoyed from the last one. He's finding
Yeah.
nothing about this beer that he likes. By the way,
this is so-
in the craft brew circles, Josh, the
Yeah.
only polite thing to do when you are not enjoying a beer is to
Yeah.
pour it. Don't drink it. Just pour it. If you don't like it, pour it. No questions asked. It's all good. No,
No.
one's gonna get
No,
mad
I'm
at you.
going-
You gotta pour it.
I'm going 6 for 6 on
It's
this.
not like it's not like
See,
wine where you spit. You know, you pour it.
Josh and I come from a world of we call it the fallen soldier rule.
right.
And what the fallen soldier rule is, if you open that thing, if it's open, it's got to go down.
You broke up.
The
Say it
whole
again.
thing's got to. If you open a beer, the whole thing's got to go down. You got to drink the beer. It's just the rules that we live and die by.
I mean, that's fair. I can't question your principles. I don't
typically
live
like
by
that
them,
as
but I respect them.
Yeah, fallen
I'm
soldier.
I'm gonna drink this beer. I'm gonna be unhappy with every sip.
You're gonna be real unhappy about the
Leave
next
no
one. then.
man behind. Leave no
So,
man behind.
so far, this is the only one I've disliked. Put it that way.
Fair.
But that's me. It's my thing.
But Chris-
it may be a good beer.
Chris likes IPAs, and I think he's enjoying that one. Look at that. He's already done with that glass almost.
I'm enjoying the heck out of this. Obviously, it's a weedy beer. It's a weedy IPA, right? No,
no wheat.
I'm just looking at the.
It's just got a
at the,
really nice protein like haze to it.
Yeah,
It's from oats.
Yum, protein haze.
Yep. A
Protein
lot of
haze.
oats.
That's
Yum.
what we all look for in our beers.
Yummy,
protein
yummy.
haze.
Hey, listen. I wasn't distributing free literature into it, so it's fine. All right.
Also, I love Sam Nalen's interpretation of what Josh said. Having never seen the
Yeah.
office, tore you
I'm
apart.
getting there, boys. I told you.
I'm
this
there with
is
you though,
happening.
Josh. I hadn't watched The Office until very recently, so I'd say like
Funny.
last year. So
Funny.
It's also
Yeah.
not a live stream or podcast if someone doesn't mention The Office. So
that's true.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'll say this though: The Office is better as a binging show.
Yeah, it is.
Like I don't think I could have ever watched this show live.
I think that's true about every
binging it
show.
was the right way to watch.
100%. 100%.
No. There's one that's not bingeable. Friends. I don't care what
Disagree.
anybody says.
Oh my God, you're
Binging
so wrong.
Friends, binging Friends
so
was
wrong.
such a hassle. It was awful.
We were
There is
on
a
a
point-
break.
I'm
Yeah.
not watching Friends.
After that, so after the pivot episodes,
That's late though.
It was
That's late
just-
Friends, man.
I know, but there was a point where like the last couple seasons, I was like, dude, this is just a chore. I just need to finish this.
Chat,
to
what are you guys
finish it.
binging?
I just,
What are you guys binging right now? Tell me. Are you binging
right.
Friends? You binging Office? What are you binging? I just
Chris.
binged Castlevania on Netflix.
Ooh, that's great. I
Yeah.
did watch that. That's very
very
good.
yeah, we're actually watching The Office for the first time as well. But we paused it. We're in season 5 or so to finish up season 3 of Ozark because we hadn't
Nice.
finished that yet. So that's what we're doing. We derailed, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I love
No.
it.
Hey, so
Um,
I got a question that I like to ask.
Well, here. Let me
Go ahead, go
answer
ahead.
Connor's question
Yeah, go
from
for it.
20 minutes ago, before peeing and drinking and all that good stuff. The answer to that question is twofold. Why were we playing less? And then, what's the plan?
Yeah.
So
Jesus
I
Christ.
always found that.
Wait for it.
What's that?
It's coming.
Speak.
Yeah, he's gonna tell us. Just let him get there.
in,
He'll get there.
in the vein in the
He'll get
vein
there.
that we are kind of hard to define. I think that some promoters found us hard to define without ever seeing us, without ever taking a full minute to kind of realize what we do. So I think we as a band struggle to find new avenues, to find new venues, to get out there. So like that's always been a struggle for us as that, and we're in a competing market with every other cover band that's out there. So, a promoter or a booker is going to say, I'm less inclined to take a chance on a band that is hard to define, than a band that's going to play, aughts
Pop
through
punk. Say
today.
it. Say it. Pop punk. It's
That-
easy to define. Blink 182. It's easy to say. I
Right.
got it.
Hey, wait,
Look,
on
Mitch,
that note, though, real quick, on that note, we often get lumped in as a 90s cover band, even though we're not. Even though most of what we play is between 2000 and 2010, we often get called a 90s cover band by
Only from
promoters.
people over the age of
But-
30.
Exactly, but I'm sorry, continue.
No, that's fine. One of the greatest compliments I received was when we played Arlington Park, and there was a security guard there, and he said, "Oh, what do you guys play?" And we're like, "Oh, we play like oldies." And he goes, "Oh, cool, like 90s?" And I was like, I go, "A little bit older than that." And he goes, "Like 80s?" And I was like, "A little bit older
Keep
than that."
going,
And he's
yeah.
like what?
You ever heard
You
of
just fall
Elvis?
off after that.
Yeah.
So
Do you know the King?
we did we were struggling to find shows, just as everyone else was struggling to find shows. But what that really but that doesn't say anything about the fact that we absolutely love playing shows. We definitely wanted to get out there as much as we could with a show or two a month. That being a challenge, married with children, which we all are. But
3 out of 4.
Yeah, 3
what's
out of
that?
3
out of 4.
Connor doesn't have any illegitimate children.
I've been
I have
sending his
2
wife
cats.
pictures of my.
Oh, no,
my
I'm sorry.
kid, like,
I'm sorry. I meant-
nonstop, though.
I meant with
You should
us
get
in
one
the
of these.
throwbacks.
They're awesome.
Us in the throwbacks. We all have. I have 2. Chris has 1. Brandon has 1. So we're all there. What we wanted to do. What we wanted to do was kind of be forward thinking, be forward facing. And Chris actually came up with this idea that while we continue to being a live band, continue to do the thing that we actually love to do, which is to play out in front of people, is to pivot into an arena that where we can not only get the people that we're playing live in front of, but utilize this weird thing that we are. Take advantage of the fact that we are playing a genre that is underrepresented, plus we're throwing our own spin on it, and find audiences where a bar, you play for 4 hours, you earn a couple bucks, and you might get a couple new likes. Let's transition to something that is a little bit different. So you might have seen us play less shows because we throughout the past, pre-COVID, we had actually been recording our own record.
Cool. And we heard a couple
Nice.
tracks off that, I reckon, right? That you
Yeah.
said earlier, yeah.
So what we decided to do is, like I said, continue being a cover band, but also be a band that people can effectively reference online.
Yeah.
In that, like, videos, new tracks, full on records of, hey, basically the punk goes acoustic of oldies.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
I think
so there's a
Punk Goes
guy.
Oldies.
There's
Punk
a
Goes
guy
Oldies.
who does that called Punk Cover Moose.
So
He,
I've reached out to Punk Cover Moose, actually.
He's a cool guy.
He's a cool guy.
He's a cool dude.
I like
He's a
that
good dude.
idea.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like for weddings and corporate events and those types of things, you have to have a different type of performance. And while your music is dirty, I think your act is clean, right? Which is the
Yeah,
music you're playing
100%.
is wholesome, and
Oh, yeah.
you
People
can put the dirt in the instrumentation, right?
100%.
And weddings and corporate people are trying to be a little bit edgy, but not too edgy. Like, you got to keep Grandma Edith involved, and
Right.
and you guys can do that. You have the ability to do that.
Yeah, you have the ability to get hired for like events too. So like,
Right.
like the auto show or whatever. You have that ability to reach those people.
We definitely search out corporate events, weddings, and stuff like that, where the idea is that we've been playing music that's been popular for the past 60 years. You've heard it in movies and TV shows and commercials, and while you're shopping at the grocery store, and you might not even realize that it's playing until you hear it again. You're like, oh, I know all the lyrics, I know the
Right.
tune, I know the chorus. Yeah, so we definitely wanted to take advantage of that. And this was, like I said, 100% Chris's idea, where he's like, hey guys, let's take advantage of this weird thing that we are, that might be hard to sell to bookers and bar owners and patrons of that bar until you're 6 songs in. Let's give them a reason to come out and see that show, because we're effectively almost a original band, like I was talking about with like me first and giving this. Go ahead, Chris, you got something to say.
Yeah, the real thing is, like, we're a band that you have to treat like an originals band, right? Because we do things that are a little bit picked up than you would otherwise expect of an oldies band, so to speak. But yeah, it's what we played like 1 to 2 weddings a year since we've been a band, and it's been hilarious because when you start playing as a musician, especially an originals band, and then you're like, oh, we'll be a cover band, and then somebody comes up to you and they're like, Connor, perfect example. Somebody comes up to you and they're like, we would love for you to play your wedding. You're like,
Why?
Why would you pick us?
Thank you.
You
Thank
literally
you.
could have
but
picked anybody.
Why?
okay, sure, yeah, we'll play a wedding. Yeah, no, I
We
guess,
love
yeah,
weddings.
We'll do it. Well, it's funny, Josh and I, because we've been musicians, we've outside of the Throwbacks, growing up, everybody was like, oh, you guys are going to play the wedding. You're going to do an acoustic song, or you'll do a piano thing, or you'll do a whatever thing. Like, we played hundreds of weddings, or not hundreds, but a lot of weddings. And so playing as an original, or a cover band rather, is like, okay, I guess we'll just play wedding. So we've played a couple a year. We played corporate events. I think, for us, it's just like, how do we, instead of, for us, because it's tough to get into those bars with what we do, it's like, all right, we need to, the ask is so big for people, meaning like, you're competing with way better bands than you at the same time slot all across Chicago, everywhere, right? You're competing with all these ridiculously good musicians with these ridiculously good bands. They're playing huge songs. They're playing, how any of us would compete with like Rod Turtle Cuffs or what, Cuff Turtles or
Chris,
every time. I say it wrong every time.
guy.
Dude,
It's not good.
You destroyed me with this.
But modern day or 16 cams, how you compete with these guys for that market share is really, really, really tough. So we started thinking through of like, how do we, we're going to put out 2 or 3 records a year, and then we're going to start doing, full cover records of like just a Rolling Stones record or just an Elvis record.
Amazing.
All of these different things.
Yeah.
Throughout the, and
I like
just
that.
become like work, the old, the Throwbacks throwing back. We've got artwork working. We've got our first couple of songs recorded, our first videos put together, and just push them out into the internet. Like, we're an originals band, even though we're a cover band, and see what happens. But we've started to make this pivot because, like, it's just, in my mind, we were seeing this trend of like, God, it's getting, bars are getting relatively uncooperative depending on the bar. Some of them are phenomenal to work with. Like Mickey Finn's is a perfect example of like, Brian every time wants to work with you and will work with everything, just help you, help the scene.
Brian is one of my favorite bar owners of all time.
Shout out to
Because
Brian.
of the way, not just because of the way he works with bands, but because of the way he treats the marketing and the design and the graphics and the branding of his business. Oh my God, it's such a treat. I want to say every time I go to Mickey Finn's, they have a different menu. I don't go often enough, unfortunately, because it's so far away from Algonquin where I live. But I want to say every time I go to Mickey Finn's, they have a different design for their menu, and every time I'm like, damn, this
100%.
looks great.
Yeah.
Hey, how do I get involved in a brew day at Mickey Finn's? Brian, that question's for you, buddy. Get back at me. I want to brew on your system, bro. You heard it from the
So
Throwbacks.
anyways.
My beer's not bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
That's right. It's true. Yeah, so we just started, recording and all the.
I don't know. They want feet. I'm a man of the people.
Jaron wants beat. And so that's what we've been doing at the time. But try to, convert to being a band that like lives on the internet as much as we live in trying to do shows, and festivals, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting pivot, and it comes down to like, what does that mean, right? To be a band that doesn't perform, right? And we think about bands that are putting out records and whatnot, and those things just go to Spotify. We talked a little bit about live streaming, and how that kind of plays into a band strategy now. One thing that I think is super interesting that people are doing now is creating things like these vast YouTube channels, or just with all the content that you have, you can have like this crazy prolific content rich type band, or whatever. It could be anything, but just specifically to a band, and someone can discover you, right, years after your band might have gone defunct. This wouldn't
Totally.
happen now, right? But it's crazy to think to me that like in 10 years someone could discover all these things that you're doing and become your number one fan, and you would never know this, because if you do the plan that you've executed on now, you'll have put out so much content that someone in the future can come back and binge your stuff like we binge The Office on Netflix and enjoy it with that same level.
Totally.
It's crazy.
This is the thing I said to Josh, like, especially as a cover band, right? Could we learn 365 songs and put out a song a day? Without a doubt. No doubt.
It'd be a
the
lot of
way
work,
we-
but you could do it. Yeah.
We could, right? But like, say you take the next year to record 360 songs. Don't even say that. Say 50 songs, right? Put out one a week. Skip Christmas. Skip Easter. Whatever,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
You put out one song a week. What you're talking about is a band that stops, or an artist, a musician, whatever, that stops focusing on how to drive people to a show, how to get them in the door, to going like, here's our thing, find us. Here's our thing, come to us, right? Let it surface around the internet, let it fly, let it do its whole thing, and someone will pop up in wherever, right? And eventually you'll find your way into the zeitgeist of people, enough people going. The way it works now, because it's so hard being an originals or cover band, what I always say to Josh and friends of ours, like getting 0 to 100 people at shows is exceedingly hard work, right? It used to be that you could tag on with other bands, you could do this, and after a year, 2 years, or whatever, you can get from 0 to 50, 0 to 100, right? Pretty quickly if you're a good band. 0 to 100 is almost impossible anymore, right? A consistent 0 to 100. And so
Consistent,
how you get
right.
a 0 to 100 has to happen on the internet before it happens on in a live setting. So you have to get 0 to 1,000 on the internet before you can get to a 0 to 100 in a show. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What's interesting about that? I'm so sorry to interrupt, but what's very interesting about that is that I remember once one of the last shows that I roadied for Modern Day Romeos. I was working the door for them, and I remember at the end of the night, Jimmy and I had a conversation about how their draw that night wasn't what they used to do and what they used to pull.
Right.
And it was almost like a reminisce to the old days of like, oh my God, I remember when we used to pull this amount of people and make this amount of money, and oh my God. And I was like, well, I was working the door, and I'm like, did you notice the age range of the people that come through your door? And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, they're all 35 plus. I'm like, I'm sitting at the door, and all the 20-somethings are just hanging out in the other room. I'm like, and if I tell them, hey, it's $8 to get into the band room, they don't want to come in. And if that doesn't deter them, if they go, what kind of music is being played? And I say, oh, they're a party cover band. They play this, they play that, and whatever. They're not interested. I'm like, but like, younger people have every reason to not spend money and to not even go out.
Right.
Like,
Well, I mean,
we have every ability to just stay home. People in general, yes, but younger people especially have every reason to just stay home and to not go out. So you have to figure out ways to get those people to come out to your shows, to spend money, to spend at the door, to spend at the bar. Like,
but you're
it's a
also
much more
competing with
difficult circumstance.
You're competing with the
And
free
that-
forms of free forms of entertainment that younger people are accustomed to, right?
Exactly. Yes.
People are not
100%.
accustomed to paying for content. Young people, especially, right? I mean,
No.
young people grew up on YouTube. It's free. Install an ad
LimeWire.
blocker. I don't even watch ads, right?
Like you can literally, you don't have to pay for a video game because you can watch your favorite YouTuber play it start to finish.
There you go.
Netflix
Are you a
has
Twitch fan,
something.
or Are you not,
What's that?
Are you a fan of that, or do you think that's not?
No. I'm saying to your point. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
there's unlimited, effectively free content. Every time you turn
Totally.
on Netflix, there's a brand new show that's getting critical reviews. Chris, you're gonna.
And you
was
guys
just
are like in your 30s, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm-
30
I
yeah, we're 30s.
apologize for aging you, but if
No,
you
no.
think about like when we, and I'm assuming it was like this for you when you guys were growing up as well. I had a limited amount of access to content, and specifically music, right? So I had to decide what cassette tape or what CD I was going to buy. And if I let's say I averaged 1 CD a month, right? That
Right.
was what my musical vocabulary was. Now you can literally listen to anything, anytime you want, anywhere you want. It's a completely different thing. So music has moved from being a product to being more like the marketing, right? It's tertiary to what an identity of a performer is now, right? It's not, the music isn't even really what attracts people to performers anymore. I feel like it's more
to that same point.
Yeah.
To that same point, Shaheen. Actually, Aaron Kleinert in our chat just said this. He goes, "You do that by developing a brand that people
Right.
want to identify with. The literal music itself is secondary to that, and that's such a huge gripe that I have in the cover band scene and with original bands. The amount of original bands where I'm like, dude, your marketing is trash, your branding is terrible, your logo is literally a pixelated JPEG that looks like it's from the 90s.
Right now.
Dude, I'm gonna get
I was like, save it,
so into this.
Keep it positive.
No, the brand. I know we gotta keep it positive, but look, the branding of what you do, whatever your business is, whether it's a band, which is a business, whether you think about it as that or not, your branding, your marketing, your graphics, your logos, everything, it has to be high quality and it has to matter. Just having a website is not what matters anymore. The quality over quantity mentality is not true. The quantity over quality mentality is not true. Quality matters.
It can be.
Quantity's second.
It can.
Stop yelling at me.
Yeah. So it's.
I feel
it's
personally
We gotta get a
right
new
now.
logo now.
Yeah, right.
So many people don't understand how important branding is to your business and how important branding is to be in a band. Like, you have to have some sort of central branding around what you do. And if you don't, and if it looks like garbage, then people aren't going to be receptive to that. And one of the things that really annoys me is like bars that have the crappiest websites on the planet. It's like, look, man, not all of them. I mean, there's some that have really good ones. But what really annoys me is like a bar will be like, look, we have a website, but it looks like it was made in 2003.
For sure.
Right? And it's like, dude, look, as millennials, what do? A friend of ours says, hey, we want to go to XYZ bar. Okay, cool. I'm going to look at their Facebook. I'm going to look at their Instagram. I'm going to look at their website. And if all their pictures are crap and the place looks like shit, I don't want to go there.
Here's a lesson
true.
that I've learned. Yeah. Here's a weird lesson that I've learned recently. My wife and I do run a small woodworking shop on Etsy, and people do not buy your product.
No.
They buy your story.
No,
Yep.
no.
Oh,
It's even less than that. They buy a picture of whatever you're selling. So you go to McDonald's, you go to Burger King, you go to Taco Bell. You are not buying a taco. You are buying the picture of a taco. That taco looks delicious. That
It's not what's
thing
delivered to you.
anything that you buy online, you are deciding that what is being presented to you is worth spending money on.
Yep.
It's when you get it, that's the okay, now I have it. Okay, now I'm gonna plug it in. Now I'm gonna wear it. Now whatever.
What do you do
But
with
I've
your
decided
tacos?
if somebody presented me a taco where the ingredients are spilled out on a plate and covered in dog crap, I'm not gonna buy it. Whether or not those ingredients taste the exact same as when I put it in my mouth, it doesn't matter. They are buying a presentation, a chosen presentation of what that thing is. Chris, you were saying
Go ahead,
something.
Chris. What you're saying? Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think that Josh's gummies are starting to kick in.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
To Josh's
By the way, I
point, though,
dosed that beer. I don't know if you know.
Time out. He did say you're not buying a taco, you're buying a picture of a taco. That's how you know the gummies really are hitting.
Last
their
time I
Hey,
did that, I had to get a charge.
Hey, am
back,
I
man.
wrong? Chris, let's have our second fight. Chris, am I
No.
wrong?
Listen, Connor wanted to say something. Let Connor.
all right. To Josh's point, there is a trend that has been happening where bands will Facebook Live their shows, where on Facebook Live they have nobody in the audience. It doesn't look good. To your point about you're not buying a taco, you're buying a picture of a taco.
That's really an interesting point, though. I gotta stop you for just one sec, though, because everybody starts with no audience, and a big part of live streaming. I think one of the things we talked about earlier was how do we get through this, knowing that live venues are hurting and cover bands are gonna have to rethink how they do this, right? And one of the things that I saw that was really, really, really cool that Mickey Finn's did, we're really, really repping Mickey Finn's hard here.
Yeah,
but
honestly.
Mickey Finn's partnered with
I
band,
straight up love Mickey Finn's.
Yeah, it's a great place. I want to brew beer there, but because it's right across the street from me. But I really appreciate. I think I was talking to Dustin a little about this. One of the things that they're doing is they're going to try to partner with bands, and I think Moon Money is doing a show there where it's going to be completely live streamed. And I think excuse me, you're going to see a lot more of that, where bands and venues are going to partner to try to figure out how they can navigate a venue that literally doesn't have customers. I can't actually house customers here, but I still have to run a business. So how do I rethink that entire business model? How do I rethink how I get people interested in my business? And so there's a lot of uncertainty in how that happens, because I don't think you've seen live streamed concerts. That's a thing, right? And people in chat have said that. That's not new, but what is new is that you can no longer go to the venue anymore to see a concert. So live streams have always been about the artist, never about the venue, and I think that's going to change because it has to change.
Yeah,
I think what my favorite part about this, and I know it sounds terrible. I know this is going to be really bad. There are people dying in the whole 9 yards. What my favorite part about something like what is going on right now is it forces creativity, right? So
yes.
I was just reading an article on Billboard today that they were like, artists are now pissed off that they're doing these streaming things. They're not getting paid for this. They're not getting paid for that. It's not coming. It's not happening. Get over it. Like we're in a different world now. I know it sucks. We're not making money off CDs anymore, right? We're
and
barely
that sucked
making
for a
money
lot of
on
people.
vinyl. Yeah, and so they're pissed at the royalty they're getting from streaming on Spotify and all this other stuff, which they've been pissed for years. Fine. But now, 0 ticket sales, 0 merch sales, nobody's spending money in the whole 9 yards. But it forces you to start being creative and really think about, in my mind, I try to think about how I interact with music and how I want to interact with music and what the lowest common denominator for me is to interact with music. I think live streaming is obviously is the place to go, but what's the next thing, right? Like us putting out 4 records a year or 3 records a year because it literally takes us 20 minutes to record the whole thing in the basement or a 3-piece. That's not an original thought. That's not new. Nothing about this is super new. But everything is a full long-term and short-term cycle. What's the thing? How do we get to find the thing that we need to put into play now that maybe already existed at some point, right? Streaming's been around for a long time. How do we do it better? How do we refine it? How do we get creative about what it means to be in front of people? How to get people to do things? Ultimately, how to get them to spend money on you, right? So your merchandise, to your point in branding, your merchandise has to be absolutely flawless, because what you want is people to go watch your live stream, right? And they go, oh shit, I loved the version of Shout that they just played. Let me see what else they've got going on. They click on the throwbacks, that sends them to a store, that sends them to a shirt, which we have in the corner that says a little bit louder.
How dare you not have that? How dare you not have that shirt? You need to go find that shirt right now.
Grab that shirt.
Connor, stand up.
No. He's talking about. Show him the shirt.
There it is.
All right.
Okay, so here's the interesting thing, guys.
Now show him some nipples.
Yeah. As soon as Chris gets back, I got some truths to throw at you. Some truths. But before we throw some truths, I will say we've gone way over. We plan to end at 9:30, but I don't care. I'm having fun having this conversation, and it's no skin off my back to have this conversation. So we're going to continue on. Thank you so much for everybody who's continued to watch. We got one more beer to get through, and we'll probably talk until we're through with that. So thank you for sticking with us. We keep talking about branding and merchandising and people spending money on stuff to buy stuff from you, but what I think we haven't talked about are really, really transformative things that bands are not thinking about as because as a band, you are a content creator, right? So we haven't talked about things like Patreon, right? And Patreon is huge right now, which is, and those of you that are not familiar with Patreon are folks who, if you support an artist, you can essentially pay them on a monthly schedule, and they send their content exclusively to their Patreons.
Right.
Okay. And really, what this is it's fan-created content, meaning that if I created a Patreon, which I very well could do if enough of you are interested in the stuff that I create.
Plug.
Yeah, plug. Not really. I would never do.
Let me know.
I just don't have that kind of time on my hands. Unfortunately, I do this for free because I hope people enjoy what's going on. But again, the point is, right, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to represent my friends and my colleagues and my peers, right? You guys are folks who are affected by this COVID, and I thought it'd be cool for us to all to get together and talk and whatnot. And I thought people might be interested in hearing what bands have to say about, particularly the cover band scene, right? What people have to say about what's going on, and maybe things that they wanted to say to us that maybe they didn't get a chance to say because we're on stage, right? Right? Everybody comes to our shows because they love us. Yeah, go ahead.
real quick, to your point, the cover band scene too in Chicago is such a strange and different phenomenon from so many other cities. Like it doesn't really exist in other places.
It doesn't.
It's true.
Like you might
Right.
find a cover band here or there in like, Texas or Florida or whatever, but like it doesn't exist. I remember when I was working at an ad agency, we had an office in Boston, and I was asking one of our producers who used to be a radio host, and she's like really like on top of things in like the Boston, Massachusetts area as far as music goes. I go, so what's the cover band scene like? And she was like,
The what now?
yeah, she's like, that's not really a thing. There's just a lot of bands. Like, she's like, there's not really a cover band scene. You might find like an oldies band here and there, an 80s band, but
I think the exception being maybe Nashville, where
yeah.
but even then, you're not a band. You are an individual who plays covers.
Which, speaking of, Emily and I went to Nashville once for a weekend. We just first of all, we kind of wanted to just have fun, but also we were there to go see Muse and 30 Seconds to Mars. They weren't coming to
dope.
Chicago, so we were like, let's go to Nashville.
That's
And
awesome.
we were at we saw tons of country cover bands. You'd hear Sublime every once in a while or whatever.
Totally.
But there's this one acoustic artist who I went up to him and I was like, hey man, I'm a punk rock drummer from Chicago. Can you please play Blink 182 for me? Because all I've heard all weekend is country covers. He goes, yeah. And he's playing it and people are singing like along to it. And then I go back up to him after and I go, dude, thank you so much. He's like, that's the best crowd response I've gotten all night.
Wow.
He's like,
That's awesome.
like, it's a country or it's a cover scene in Nashville, but it's mostly country and classic rock based.
Yeah.
Oh, without a
So then
doubt,
when you
without a
play something different, people go, oh, when they start to notice,
doubt. Yeah.
Well, and that's oddly enough, that's like I said, we wanted to play something different, but we wanted to play something different from what we're mostly hearing, and even if it's not the most popular thing, it does make people go, oh, okay.
That was me and us too. So like when I was working with, I used to roadie for Modern Day Romeos for about 5-6-ish
Right.
years, and I love those guys. But one of the things that I kept telling them was, learn some damn Blink 182, learn some Sum 41, learn some Simple Plan. Because I'm like, look, that's what my generation wants to hear. And for years, it was kind of ignored. And then as it started to become more popular, and now there's like 4 or 5 different bands that play the kind of music that we play right now, it's like, dude, look, I was right. Like, it may have been a little ahead of the curve, but I was right. Like, it's here. It's a thing.
Aaron and Chad, I think I know one thing about North Carolina, and that it's pronounced North Kakalaki. That's all I know about North
He
Carolina.
just moved to North Kakalaki. Straight
Yeah.
up. It's not
Wait,
the
did
rock
he
company.
really?
He moved. Oh God, Aaron's gonna be pissed. Oh, he just got a house, so congratulations to him. Him and his wife.
Congrats, Aaron.
Yeah,
Gotta be
congratulations.
almost a year. Coming up in a year, somewhere between 6 months. But Shaheen, I actually want to argue with you. Can I argue?
Oh yeah, please do. I love it.
Yeah. I'm gonna argue. I don't think Patreon is the future for artists. and
I hate
bands.
Patreon. Full disclaimer.
Well, and so I just saw.
There goes our sponsorship.
Yeah.
Speaking of Saves the Day, I just saw that they did. They're doing a Patreon now for people to get their records and stuff like that. And blah, 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 blah. I think the misstep here is thinking that people are going to pay for music in the future,
Agreed.
and I don't think they're going to.
Well, again,
They don't pay for it now. They pay for a service. They don't pay for music, right?
think-
So and it's important to keep that distinction going.
They pay for merch and live shows.
No,
which
I
will
disagree.
change.
I disagree because I think people will throw money at things that they support. And I don't think that the industry is geared towards allowing fans to support their preferred artists. And the reason why I say that is because there's a Patreon, right? And when we talk about supporting artists, the only thing we talk about is buying merch, buying music, right? We don't talk about things like donations, which is a huge thing in the live stream community. People literally empty their pockets to watch people live stream, and that's how live streamers make most of their money, which is by people, $1, $2, $3, $5 donations over the course of live streaming 8 hours every day, 5 to 6 days a week. right? Which ends up being crazy amounts of time that they invest and also crazy amounts of money that they can potentially make when they get bigger audiences. I think the thing that I've kind of come to realize is if someone truly supports what you do, right, whether that's as an artist or as a person, they're going to support you if you give them a way to do that. You have to make it easy, and you have to make it accessible to them, and you have to make it reasonable for them. And that's why people come to bars to see us, because we've done those three things. If they don't come to see us at bars, it's because we've missed on one of those three things, right?
Right. One of the things that I always negotiate with bars, and I think this is a little bit of tipping my hand, but I mean it's nothing negative. It's what I always negotiate is the cover charge at the door.
Right.
I never negotiate for free.
I know where you're going exactly with this.
Yeah. Like certain venues are just like, hey, we just don't charge a cover. It's like, okay, cool. That's fine. That's what you do. But when a venue is like, hey, we charge a cover, it's like, okay, cool. That's fine. What is it? Because at $5, anybody will pay $5. $7, most people will still pay that. It's fine. $8, you start to get a little weary. $10, you lose about 75% of the people that would have come in.
I've paid $10 to see some of the best shows I've ever seen in my life, by the way.
Yeah, but like for a cover band.
For a cover band. I'm not talking about cover bands. I'm talking about like an original.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, for a cover band, it's a totally different thing.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah, so like I always negotiate with venues. Like if they're like, yeah, we charge a $10 cover, I go, can you do $7? Can you please do $7? And I remember one venue we negotiated with. I won't say the venue or how long ago it was or whatever, but I have it in my mind because I've been booking most of our shows for the majority of this band's existence. There was a venue that we negotiated with where they said they do a $10 cover, and they would split it with us, $5 and $5. And I said, look, the market doesn't support this. People will not pay $10 to come see us.
Right.
How about you keep all the money for the door at $5, and then we will take a flat rate of X number of dollars.
100%.
And that's it. Like, look, we'll just.
Or at that point, I'd even take liquor sales. I'd say give me 5% of your liquor sales that night, right?
Right, but it was the first
That's
time.
a big ask, yeah.
It's not a big ask, by the way, in the promotion scene.
venue.
If you're a promoter in bars, by the way, that's how they do it. So, like, when you go to,
but-
like Sound Bar or whatever downtown, right, and they have a promotion company that's packing their place, right, that's how they arrange it. They don't get paid. They literally take a percentage of the ring. And
in this case, though, it was the first time we were going to play this venue. So I was like, okay, look, you keep all of the door if you keep the door at $5, and then we will only take this. You as the bar stand to make more money because we will sell liquor for you and you will make the money off the door. We just want this. That's all we want.
And
it freaked him out. It was really weird.
Mike's echoing that exactly in the chat, right?
The bars
that's how we do it.
Okay.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the bars that don't understand that is like
We're never gonna make money
very
off the door,
it's,
right?
it's very telling to the bands that hey man, if you're gonna try to charge $10 for a door and then be surprised at the end of the night when that many people didn't show up, is like you might not have your finger on the pulse of what's actually happening.
Yeah, and
Right,
I think
and
a big barometer
it's-
for us is, did we keep people there, right? So our
Right.
whole goal when we're working with a bar prior is how can we get the most number of people in your establishment, right? What are the levers we have to tweak? And cover charge is one of those big levers, right? The higher the cover charge, the less people you're going to have in that bar, right? But once that's
exactly.
done, you're hiring us to keep those people in the bar for as long as that's our job. Our job is to keep them in the bar, right? And we're going to do our best to do that. And different bands have different ways of doing that, right? And different bands pull in different crowds.
And one of my favorite compliments we ever received. I remember Chris
guys should
Earlier
with
in
fifth
this
beer,
stream,
by the
when
way.
I said you guys blew the doors off Vanelli's, you're very welcome.
that was amazing.
It is definitely up there now. But before this talk, one of my favorite compliments I ever received was that even though we didn't draw as much as a top A-list band this venue had before, we sold much more alcohol than that band.
I don't know if
And
that's great for the bar, but I feel a little bad about that. I'm like, damn, man, I really made a lot
Look,
of people make unhealthy decisions.
I would feel bad about that if it wasn't for the
'Cause I
fact
drink
that we
this beer.
definitely made the bar money, that we definitely made that venue money. Even though we had less people, they drank twice to 3 times as much, and they sold more alcohol. That is what the bar cares about, because
Agreed.
that is where
That's
they
what the bar
make the
does.
most of their money.
That's literally their job.
And again, going back to when I used to work for Modern Day Romeos, that's a huge thing that MDR has set records at tons of festivals that they've played. Some that I've worked that were amazing, where it's like, holy crap, there's 2,000 or 3,000 people out there. Oh my God, it's like, huge crowd. But then there's some where it's like, okay, you didn't bring as many people as the band that played the night before, but you sold out all of our kegs and we ran out of alcohol. To me,
Amazing.
that is a bigger compliment. Like, if we were that band, if we played a fest and they went, yo, we tapped all our kegs and we're out of beer, dude, that's a win. That's a win for me. We could have half as many people, but if we tapped out all your beer, I'm happy. We sold your beer, we made you money, and that's what matters.
Hey, speaking of beer, there's one beer left, and I don't know if you guys are still with
have
me.
2
It's getting a
beers.
little late. Oh,
Yeah,
you
we're
got
with
2?
you. We're with you. We're with you.
Listen,
Yeah, thank you to everybody that's still sticking around at 10:20. You
Yeah,
guys are
totally.
awesome.
Getting.
P is for you.
They just got nothing
Chris.
better to do.
You can save that one for another time.
Oh.
That's a special gift from me to you. It's filled. It's carbonated. It'll be delicious. It is the second best. Let's say the P stands for present. It's probably the second best beer.
Yo.
Yes, the second best beer. that
Shout
we
out to Brian One, who just joined us.
made. Oh, hey now, Brian One.
Who's Brian?
Brian
One?
One.
Shout out to my wife who's still watching.
Is she?
Shout out to your
I think
wife
my
who's
wife-
letting us get you absolutely loosey-goosey on the stream.
She does not care as long as I get up with the kids in the morning.
Listen, it's the reverse. Josh's wife, the more drunk that she gets, the more attractive she finds Josh.
Oh, for sure.
So
The drunker that Josh
it
gets,
gets-
she
it
finds him
starts
more
getting-
attractive, or the
I'm
drunker
with ya.
she gets, the more she...
the more drunk she gets,
The more drunk she gets, the more attractive I become.
But yeah, she doesn't. What there's Brian from.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah, that's Brian
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Brian
Oh,
One.
Hey,
Brian
okay,
One.
so I got a
Rock, rock.
question for you guys. I got a couple questions for you guys that I've been dying to
Hi,
ask.
Tammy.
We're gonna.
All
we're
right,
gonna pull
all
it
right,
back
hold
to
on.
music.
Before you even continue, this is the best beer by far.
Is it?
This smells.
Guys,
phenomenal.
okay, so I'm gonna ask you a
This
question.
is my goddamn jam.
Okay.
This is gonna get you effed up.
Do you want
What
me to
is
tell
this?
you what's in this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Can I see the color? Can I see the color? Can I see it, guys?
I'm well beyond
Dark.
tasting.
This is
or,
is this a porter?
I saved the best for last. Oh God, please don't
No,
insult me by calling this a porter.
No. This
Oh,
is
this is a stout.
This is definitely. It's got to be in the stout family.
Yeah.
Woo,
Um,
Nelly.
It's
Look at
definitely
Chris's
got some of
face.
that.
He's liking that. He is liking
This is
that.
I'm gonna
It's
take a
definitely-
guess. Bourbon
Go on.
barrel aged stout.
No,
Is it a bourbon?
absolutely not.
It
No?
100%.
Is it?
It's 100%.
Is it?
100%. 100%.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got it.
Did you? So now
Wow.
let me ask you a question. Did you actually get a barrel? Did you
I
do
absolutely did.
shards?
You're damn right
Oh
I
my
did.
God.
This is a barrel.
Wow.
baby.
And you wait, time out. Now you're insulting me by not having filled that bomber up with this right here, dude. This has got to be 10%, 11%.
10%.
This is the big,
Oh.
this is the big boy. This is
Brother.
the big boy.
Brother.
This is
So
the grand
much-
Keep
finale.
going.
Dude,
Keep going.
You feel it all in here.
Yeah.
You feel it all.
Is it a
11.
15?
This has
you're-
got to be a
If you're at like hypothermia, this is what the dog would pour into your mouth, right? Like
For sure.
Like the Saint Bernard would come
Dude.
over and just
Is this a 15?
It's got to be between 12 and 15, I would say.
Oh
The-
my
the-
god.
at 12.
The mouthfeel on this is absolutely flawless, by the way.
This is
Like,
fantastic.
Thank you so much.
It's creamy. It finishes dry. Like it is absolutely perfect.
Here's the
Wow.
funny part. Here's the funny part. I am not a bourbon guy, a bourbon barrel aged guy. This is why I said there's no way that's that, because it is goddamn delicious.
Thank you.
Josh is.
That's
Josh,
the dessert.
We're sending Josh to bed right now.
Yeah, right.
He's gonna be
He's
carried
going
By
to
the
bed.
He's
bottom
going
of this,
down.
he's gonna be, you know.
I'm gonna
Allie-
I'm gonna climb into bed with Allie and be like, "What's up, girl?"
She's gonna be like, "I wasn't drinking. Get out of here."
Yeah. I'm gonna
You're
get
gonna
like,
say she
I'm gonna
hit
get
us.
like, I'm gonna get like messages from her later saying, "What did you do to my husband?" Right.
You got me pregnant.
Right. So
I'm pregnant
Again?
Okay, so maybe TMI, but since having a little girl, I'm like so disappointed that I could have been breeding this whole time. I was like, I could have had like 10 of these kids, like,
10
and
of
I
these
only have one now.
already.
Like,
Let's
Jesus
try
Christ,
'em out,
I've been
yeah.
avoiding this whole time, and now I have like this beautiful angel.
So awesome. Yeah.
Of course, my
Yep,
wife is
absolutely.
like, "You're fucking insane." Clearly, you're saying that because you know this kid doesn't have to like sustain themselves off of your nipples,
Off
like,
of your
you know.
body.
Yeah, right.
You just get all the fun parts.
Right, exactly.
Wait, Shaheen, you have. It's weird because like as a dad of a 4-year-old, I'm semi the old dad already.
Yeah.
But you have these years ahead of you where like it just gets better. Let me just tell you that.
I don't know
It-
how it can get better because it's just such a.
I'm
such a,
telling you because then all of a sudden you're hanging out with like a little person.
like a person. Yeah,
and
yeah.
and you're and like you see these things that come out of their face where it's like, oh, that's like a little bit of me, and like, oh, that's like a little bit of them, and then like hey man, what, like my son and I just played Luigi's Mansion the other day,
Oh,
my
and he's
god.
and his 4th birthday is on Friday, and like I'm like, dude, this is my dude, this is my guy right here, and then my daughter's like. My daughter, we went for a bike ride today, and she gets out of her her bike seat with her mom, and she goes, "I want daddy," and I go, "Come here, you," and she goes, "I love you," and I'm like, "Bring it in, girl." And like,
you
so
just start
it's just-
crying
it's-
like immediately, like in the middle
just-
of the street, like.
So,
Ah.
Oh, I
What's
cried.
crazy
Aaron,
is-
Aaron and I do get ethnic when I'm drunk.
He certainly does. He certainly does.
What's crazy is that so Emily and I just have 2 cats, right? We have a male cat named Taco. We have a female cat named Tammy. I am definitely Tammy's like favorite. Like it's like she is a daddy's girl cat. So like if I lay on the couch, she'll lay next to me and wrap herself around my arm, like you're not leaving. And every time she does that, I go, "Holy shit, we're gonna have a daughter."
Mhm.
And when we have a daughter, I'm absolutely going to be the like most protective dad of that daughter.
Oh, you
like
have
I
no
know
idea.
for a fact,
You have
I
no idea.
know that just having a
It's gonna
daughter,
be-
I'm gonna be like, holy
By the way,
shit,
that cat is
I
gonna get
love this
fucking
kid.
neglected. Right now, you love that cat, but fuck that cat when the baby comes. That's all I'm saying.
I
Hey,
literally-
hey, Shaheen is 100% right, man.
I
Like-
literally had this
Yeah.
I had this
No, but-
conversation with my wife earlier today, where like she needed this dog. We have a dog. Her name's Bernadette. She's a
That's an amazing
Labradoodle
dog
black
name, by
lab.
the way.
Oh,
It's
She-
a
yeah.
dog name.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we call her Bernie, so people always think
course.
that she's Bernie Sanders or whatever,
Yeah.
which is really obnoxious to, especially to the Four Tops. But anyway, she needed this dog, and today she was like, "This goddamn dog, she won't just get her." And I'm like, keep in mind, 2 years ago you were like, "He's the best dog in the whole world. I love her so much." And now that we have a kid, it's like this dog is just always in the way.
Right,
It's
like-
gonna happen.
It's just
wait, real quick onto this. All right, so David Schwantes, I
At
don't
some
know.
point you can.
Schwantez?
Schwantes.
David
So-
Schwantez?
Schwantes.
So he said
Schwa-
this.
David
At-
Schwantes.
At some point, you reach an age where it's easier to have a kid and wait till they get old enough to drink with than to make new friends. Dude, my parents had me at 40. So when I was old enough to
Damn.
drink, my dad was 61. And let me tell you, 100% my dad.
Not
100%.
after.
Growing up, my dad and I had a terrible relationship. And then as soon as I was like more of an adult and in college and then able to drink, it's like all of a sudden our relationship went the entire opposite way. And I have an amazing relationship with my dad. And that's exactly what happened.
That's awesome.
It's like, yeah, you just wait till they're old enough to drink and then you can be like, hey, remember when you were a little shit?
Hey, man, here's how it's real.
Yeah.
For the
exactly.
record, Dave is in San Francisco, so that's why we keep getting numbers. Like now we're hitting the West Coast people.
Oh, I love it.
They're jumping.
I love
up.
it. We're
yeah.
we're
So
taking
Dave,
this show
we're-
coast to coast, baby.
I'm
Dave-
just seeing, just looking at, just hovering over his name. He works for Instacart. Dude.
So he used to
Holy
work for
shit.
Instacart.
He did
actually
work for
just
Instacart.
quit. Now
Oh.
he works for GitHub. I'm glad we're talking about Dave. So Dave was the guitar
Somehow,
player. in-
somehow he sabotaged. He
Yeah, how did
Like,
he
he
get it?
always does.
took
He's
over
gonna
this.
jump in the
goddamn-
stream right now. His video's gonna pop up, and I'm just gonna be like, "All right, guys, we're done with the throwbacks. Dave, get in here."
yeah.
He's not, I promise you, he's dying laughing. But he was the guitar player in the American Autumn. Him and I actually started the American Autumn.
Was he really?
Yeah, and he was also the guitar player.
Whoa,
in-
whoa, 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 whoa.
100%. 100%. Are you?
All
saying-
right, third fight of the evening.
Here we go. Here we go.
Dave,
Guy.
why don't you, Dave.
No,
let's get
no,
Dave
no,
in
no,
here.
no, guy. We all
Yeah.
we all did this at the same time.
Here we go. Anyway, so Dave
Dishwa.
was
Confirm or
the first
deny.
First band I was ever in, and then Dave and I were in this weird kind of like light rock-ish whatever band, and we wanted to start something a little bit different. That's when we started the American Autumn. But what? Yeah. That's
Anyway.
Which speaking of the American Autumn, when I was in 314 on Main Street, we had heard of you guys and wanted to do a show together. I don't know if we ever hit you guys up or if we just were like, oh hey, we should do a show with those guys. But I 100% remember that. And on on another point of like just like weird coincidental like small world, you guys used to practice in the same studio space that we currently practice in, and you broke the Cruising USA machine.
Time out.
Hold
Wait a
on.
second.
There's a Cruising
Wait a
USA
second.
machine? What?
Hold on.
Wait a second.
Hold
Wait a
on.
second.
Hold
Shut
on.
Hold
Hold on.
Wait, time out. I can't see.
Hold on.
I can't see who's in the stream. Is Sam still in there? Is Sam still in the stream? In the live stream? Nail it.
Sam, say something if you are. I can't
let's
see.
He
see.
said something a little bit ago.
Hold on.
Something.
Sam is
Currently,
the one that
it does not look like he's in the stream, but I don't know if I'm looking at the
So if you're gonna say
if
something
Aaron
bad about
is,
him, do
he
it
can
now.
also corroborate this.
All
Sam is the one that broke it.
we
Okay.
the American Autumn, the fact if it's a gun to your head, the American Autumn broke that thing.
Gun to your
The American Autumn walked away with the steering wheel. That's just all. That's all. That's it.
Gun to your head.
Aaron says that was me. But what's really funny about that too is that when I started working for MDR, their original roadie, or not their original roadie, I'm sorry, their third roadie, who by the time I started working with them was still working for them. His name was Rich. Rich told me the story about how he got hired for MDR, and that was he was in a band rehearsing at that studio. He was playing the Cruisin' USA game, and Mike from MDR came up to him and was like, "Hey, you want some extra work?"
That's
and then
Rich
like
Kinderman.
yeah,
Is that
and
Rich
then,
Kinderman?
yeah, and
Yeah.
then like a couple months later, that machine was broken.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Aaron. Last
no,
of fucking Rick,
Sam
Rich
is in the-
Kinderman was in Last of Us.
All right.
No way in
Yeah,
hell.
yeah, he
Still
was.
Here. Oh, good. What's up, Sammy?
We got some
Um,
diehard
so-
like people just chilling in chat right now. So I hope
They
we're like
just wanna listen to
delivering.
us
Yeah, I hope
bullshit.
like our random
walls.
banter here about everything and nothing is entertaining. Just gonna
that place
plug
was-
the show again real quick. Like every 2 weeks,
please
we're gonna be
do.
doing this. We're gonna have different folks from different bands. So please, if you're not following There Goes the Neighborhood, please follow us. We're gonna, as part of this post-COVID type stuff where we're not performing, we're trying to figure out new avenues to kind of keep ourselves relevant. And one of those things is we're gonna have folks on and we're gonna talk about stuff. And we'll talk about things that are interesting. Being in a band, we'll talk about anything that you think is interesting that we should talk about because we watch the chat and that's how we roll here. And again, we as artists, content creators, whatever you want to call us, can't exist without you. So, we're here to entertain you, as it were. And as great
Shaheen-
company as you guys all are, again, we do this for everyone. So,
Shaheen, may I ask one last question before we are about to hop off?
yeah, go for it.
It's probably my favorite question to ask any band, and especially a cover band. If you guys could only tribute one band that you cover currently, only one band, if you decided like, look, we're not going to play anybody else except X band, who would that be?
All right. The question is this for us or for the crowd?
Ooh, I'd like to hear how that answer differs.
Yeah, how does that
I
differ?
would too, actually.
Chris, the for us answer is obvious. Come on, guy. You know the answer for us.
Dick Biondi.
Who we would cover.
Dick
Biondi's
Biondi's
Forgotten
Oldies, Oldies 104.3.
That we
no.
what band we currently cover that we would
Right.
cover.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you guys were like, look, we're gonna screw all these other bands, we're only gonna play this band from now on, that we currently play that fits our style, who is that band?
For
Right,
us,
Chris.
who would that be?
It's okay.
This is
so
the
it's-
married game, the match game.
I was gonna
All
say
right, this is our-
Josh feels like this is in the bag and Chris is not so sure.
This is our fourth fight. If it's for us, it's either the Temptations or Sam Cooke.
Yikes!
That's a fact.
Yikes!
Which is weird because
Is that a I agree
It's-
yikes or is that a no?
no, that's a dead on. That's
Yeah,
a dead on.
okay.
Yeah, it's which is weird because it falls in that Motown category, but there is something about those two groups that it just they're baby making groups. They they just encompass kind of the genre that yeah, guy, I'm sorry. That
God.
It's all about, like, it's a love song of a yesteryear. If it's for the crowd, honestly, and this isn't pandering too much, based on recent events, but it's Little Richard. It's got to be Little Richard for the crowd.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, or Little Richard, Beatles, Elvis, Chuck Berry.
You didn't even name
Those guys. But Little Richard just wrote like rock. Little Richard, Chuck Berry wrote rock and roll.
They absolutely.
I
did.
mean,
Before it was rock and roll, they were writing rock and roll. Yeah.
They were writing rock and roll.
Yeah.
This is your cousin Marvin Berry. You know that new sound you've been looking for?
100%.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny when we play shows, like, people go like, "Oh, we want more Beatles," or "Oh, we want more Elvis," or whatever.
You sound like you just took my brain. Like you just picked the thought that was in my brain. I'm like, oh, what if they played more Elvis or more Beatles?
Yeah. People always want more Beatles and more Elvis.
Yeah.
No Beach Boys? Not more Beach Boys?
Beach Boys is very decisive. I'm sorry. Divisive. People either die for Beach Boys or hate Beach Boys.
And Beach Boys is like a
Chris-
thing where
Chris
people
and I-
don't, they
Chris
don't want
and
people
I-
fucking with it, right? Like,
Well, no, it's Chris and I adore Beach Boys. If we plan on
Said you
doing
were
a
in
Beach
choir,
Boys
so I could see that,
cover
yeah.
record. Yeah, we plan on doing a Beach Boys cover record.
definitely.
But
That'd be awesome.
But people, they despise it or they absolutely love it, and then
Yeah.
they absolutely love like what like us pop punking it up a little bit. They absolutely go, oh, it's like that difference of like I know this song, but now you're playing it in a different way.
So I have a question on that. So I've been watching the docu-series on Disney Plus about the Mandalorian, and Dave Filoni, who is like the new George Lucas over at Lucasfilm, who is basically the archive of everything Star Wars. At one point he talks about, like, he goes, I've never thought of Star Wars as mine. I've only ever thought of it as a privilege to work on. Do you think that people who are against the Beach Boys side of things think of it as the Beach Boys are mine? No one can touch this thing that I identify with.
So
Do you think it's that?
The thing about the Beach Boys is it's if you take out for a split second, if you take out like Motown stuff, which like Temptations are huge, right? Yep. We play I Feel Good, J. James, all this stuff. If you take that out for a second, because I think it's obviously not as popular as like rock and roll ended up getting. The funny part about Beach Boys, it's the most distinct. We do the most distinct versions of Beach Boys songs. Where like we do Barbara Ann, and it's like instead of like a ba 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 Barbara Ann, ba ba whatever, we're going faster at it, right?
Yeah.
And so it ends up being the thing that sticks out the most in terms of like how different we are from the original version of it. And so I think that's part, like when we play Satisfaction or whatever, like dun, 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 that we
Satisfaction
play a very
is not
close
too
version
far,
of-
yeah, from what you guys do.
yeah, we play a close version of it, but when we play, because we can only speed it up so much, right? But when we play Beach Boys songs, like I Get Around, and we're like, get it, jump, got it, jump, and not the same old. It's so much different than the original person. People either go like, "Oh shit, that was cool," or they go, "What are you
Yeah,
doing?"
you
with
have an
that
extreme
song?"
reaction
Right.
one way or another.
Oh
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
To answer your question, I do believe, for the most part with Beach Boys, it's not so much that the version of the Beach Boys is mine; it's that the Beach Boys are mine.
Yes. Yes.
So it's not so much that like, hey, you bastardized this. It's more of, hey, thank you for representing them, or like, oh, I hate the Beach Boys. Stop playing them. know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It's
to answer
been
your question.
It's been interesting. I think for me, the band that I would cover, like hands down, that I would check both boxes is the Rolling Stones, and I think Josh didn't
Hell
hit
yeah.
that in any of his lists. But like, if you, I was just
But
saying,
Rolling
I'm
Stones
drunk.
is so much closer to like an like an electric thing. You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah,
less
100%.
transformation that happens.
I
there
was just
probably.
Wait, can I ask the same question about There Goes the Neighborhood?
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
want to
one
hear
sec.
Chris's answer first.
Oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was gonna say a family friend just gave me Let It Bleed on vinyl. It's like the original Let It Bleed. He took really, really good care of it. It's like a beautiful version of it. And when you throw that thing on, you're like, oh my God, start to finish, this is an amazing record. I texted Josh and I was like, if we're gonna do any like, throwbacks cover to cover for the Rolling Stones, it should be Let It Bleed. Like Sticky Fingers is a little bit later than we were. Exile on Main Street is a little bit later than we were. But if you think about those songs on Let It Bleed, like they're just these humongous Rolling Stones songs, and people adore the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
And in terms of variation from what we do, it's not that far off. Again, if we did a whole cover record of Beach Boys or any of Temptations for the Sam Cooke, whatever, it would be picked up, it would be a little bit faster, and people would feel more combative towards it because it's different from what they're expecting. With the Rolling Stones, we could do one, it would slide into basically everybody's, the good feeling about it, and, we would do it easily with a 3-piece just because of how Keith Richards wrote those guitar parts and stuff like that. So I think for me it would be like, if we're just gonna be one band, let's just be the Rolling Stones, and it'll end up being something that transforms into like really big shows and all that good stuff.
Chris,
So Nicole asked a question here. So she
Right,
asked,
right.
what would be the Rolling Stone song that would be your first pick to cover? And it sounds like, you guys already do Satisfaction. So if you take that off the list, what you mentioned, you would do that full record that you just talked about. But what's like the song that isn't Satisfaction that you would pick if there was one?
so
song,
we have
song that you don't currently play.
Well,
Any song
actually,
you
why
don't
don't you tell me the ones you do play too? Because I haven't
Oh,
heard all
yeah,
of them.
yeah.
I've definitely heard
So we
Satisfaction,
d-
but I haven't heard
so-
any others either.
on the first record we're going to put out this year. We're also going to include Jumping Jack Flash.
Yes.
For our
Yes.
Everybody's
Yes.
reaction to that
Yeah.
is you hear like Jumpin' Jack Flat. That song blows the doors off every
so
single
good.
time.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's such a good jam. And anyway, go on, Josh. Sorry.
No. I was gonna ask you, Chris, if there's a different Rolling Stones that you'd
Why
like
is
to
your
throw on the
answer
list.
not Paint It Black? By the way, I'm offended.
No.
Josh,
Why
this is
isn't your
exactly what I was-
answer Give Me Shelter, for God's sake? Give Me Shelter
Also good song.
is just, it's every time I hear that song, I imagine people walking in slow motion. It's such a fantastically cinematic song. I love it.
Josh has been pushing for Paint It Black for quite some time. I wasn't 100% into it because I feel like it's not a big bar song. I'd love to be told I'm wrong about Paint It Black, but
I have
like,
no idea.
I just mean
no,
like,
Brandon's on that Painted Black train,
Yeah.
but yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually know, but if you do ever perform it live, I'd like you to dedicate it to me.
You got it. Here's a song Shaheen doesn't know. All right.
Shaheen, so in answering the same question, I think
Yeah,
we
please
should
do.
follow the same format of one that would be for the fans and one that would be for us. Of the bands that we cover. And actually, for our purposes, because there's some bands where we only covered one song and then stopped playing that band, let's include those bands.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah. So for the crowd
so-
first, do you want to do the crowd? You say first, then I'll say, and then we'll move on to the next question.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. For the crowd, I would do Blink 182.
Yeah, that's an easy answer. Let's.
Interesting.
That is an easy
Unfortunately-
I'm trying to
one.
think
It's
what else that
unfortunately
really
easy.
gets people going.
I mean, I said
Blink-182 is
Rolling
like,
Stones.
yeah, Blink-182 is the easy one. I feel like we get a ton of traction off other stuff too. Like, if it was going to be just a band, actually, interestingly enough, my crowd reaction and my personal reaction would be the same, and it'd be Sum 41.
Dude, I was going to say that for personal. Oh
Yeah, I think-
my
I
God,
think- and,
yes.
And here's the thing that you guys might not know. I like in There Goes the Neighborhood, people refer to me as the technical one, right? Because I think about things and I like to think about things from a music theory type perspective. Because I took like 2 jazz guitar lessons and I think I know something about music theory, but I
Our
actually don't know
musical
shit.
director.
Like, yeah. for me, I thought Sum 41's really interesting because I was a huge Metallica fan, and they're huge Metallica. Like, they a lot of their songs pay like homage to really traditional metal things, but they do it in a pop punk kind of way.
And
so
they cover Metallica live.
Yeah, there's always something really cool about the guitar sections that nobody hears, but for someone like me that obsesses about trying to recreate exactly what's being played, I'm like, oh, there's a fucking gallop there. Or there's like this string skip there. There's something really cool there that's going on, and it'll give me enough to sink my teeth into to just sit in my bedroom and like obsess about it and figure out how to play it, and then feel accomplished when I figure it out, rather than like a 3-chord cowboy chord song, right?
Totally.
So for me, it would be Sum 41.
Quick,
yeah.
Real quick, shout out to Jake Man, fucking Jake Man.
Hey, Jake
from,
Man, what's up, buddy?
All American Throwbacks has joined us. Love to see ya.
So what's your
Oh
personal?
wait, let's talk about the All American Throwbacks for a hot second.
I got to hear Connor's personal before we do it, because otherwise he's not gonna tell me. He said,
my personal is Sum 41, because I think Sum 41 transcends two different genres.
Yep.
They transcend two different genres of pop punk and metal. And what's so interesting about them is that after Does This Look Infected and Chuck, they had a guitar player named Brown Sound, and Brown Sound left in order to pursue a metal career. And everyone thought there was like a huge fight and all this drama, but that wasn't the case. And so on their next album, Underclass Hero, it was mostly Derek writing all the guitar parts and writing all the lyrics. And Underclass Hero is a bit of a darker album, but also it doesn't have that distinct metal sound, but it's still very, very good. And then after that, they did another like EP that was nobody really paid attention to it. Then they kept touring and doing whatever, and then eventually Brown Sound came back like a few years ago, and everyone was like, well, what happened? Did you resolve your fight? And they were like, there was no fight. You just
came
wanted
back.
two different things. Yeah, he came back, and then all of a sudden their past two records have been very, very metal and very, very good. And I would absolutely love to do Sum 41. And Emily and I have seen them together twice. We saw them on a Greatest Hits tour, and then we saw them on the anniversary of Does This Look Infected.
He really is, yeah.
That's cute.
What?
That's so cute.
You're fanboying.
I am, dude.
Calm down.
There's so
you look like
much
Josh
fun
right now.
There's so much
Damn,
fun
that
live.
was accurate.
So they're incredibly fun live. What they do with a live show is super fun. Their drummer used to tour with Motley Crue for a little bit when Tommy Lee couldn't tour. So like they have a very live aspect to them, and they're a lot of fun in general as a band. So if I could tribute one band for me, it would be Sum 41 for sure.
I think it's
because
super interesting
they're
that we
just
have the same answer.
Yeah, no,
I wouldn't have expected that.
You know what
Josh?
though? I think Chris and Yoel are on that same page. Like if we decided we're not going to be There Goes Neighborhood anymore, we're just going to be one
There
tribute
goes
band.
Sum 41.
We would be.
Yeah.
No, it'd be
Funny.
because Sum 41 calls their fans scum fucks. I thought it was Scum 41 or something like that.
Oh, that's
Somebody
funny.
said that.
Josh, what was the question you were asking before I cut you off like a complete savage?
Oh
Yes,
no.
Chris.
No. It's nothing. Don't even worry about it.
No, it was
It's
going to be
all
a good question. I wanted to answer it, but I cut you off because I'm a savage.
good. It was in regard to I think it was the All American Throwbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
A full-on 5-minute panic happened when I saw their band name, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, oh no, we're cool. We do different things. It's all good.
Yeah. So
Am I going to have to
there
start
very
fight
is.
number 5? Not with my brother? Am I going to have to take this
Especially
guy?
because our original band name was the American Autumn, and now we're the Throwbacks.
Yeah.
So it was like, what's going on? Wait, what's happening?
Am I getting
I
trolled
think
with
they're-
this?
I think their idea was based off of the All American Rejects. I think that
Right.
was their-
Right.
Seems reasonable.
Oh, to
Yeah,
be fair to them.
To be
right,
fair.
To be
We're
fair,
we're defensive over the word throwbacks because we're like, oh, we're throwing
yeah.
Way back.
way back, way all the way.
Yeah, like a
back,
throwback
all the way,
can't be
but
10 years ago, guys. You got to go like 50 years back, okay?
You got to figure it
Yeah.
out. You got to figure it out. No, we haven't had the
Well,
pleasure yet. I'm sure those dudes are rad. You guys, I know you guys have played with them. I'm sure those dudes are rad. And we'd love to play, eventually with everybody. But when we saw it, we're like, huh?
Not only are they rad, but so they're absolute beasts. What was so funny is we played so for the last 2 years we played this festival at base camp in Lyle called 90s Palooza, and each year they've asked us to play. So the first year they were like, okay, can you do a set of Blink-182 and Sum 41? We're like, sure. Second year they're like, can you do Blink-182, Sum 41, and Green Day? So we're like, sure. And in the second year, they were asked to play, and I can't remember all the bands they were asked to play, but it was like 4 or 5 bands, like to tribute.
The tribute
one
went
of
off
them
the
was,
rails, right? Like it's like
yeah,
hey,
and they
just like play your set now, right? Like
yeah, it was like
what it
Foo
was
Fighters was in there for some reason.
Foo Fighters.
But man, I remember talking to them. They were like, dude, we didn't know how to play any of these fucking songs. This is the first time we're playing like 5 of them, and I've watched them play, and they absolutely killed it. Like, it didn't matter if they missed a note here or a note there. Like, they had fun. Also, their drummer, George, he plays, like, 1 hi-hat in a crash ride, and then a floor tom and a snare and a kick. It's, like, the most basic setup.
That's cool.
And he's muscular as all hell. And the guy is just, like, ripping it. And I'm like, dude, I've never met this guy, but I'm so impressed. Those guys are so fun.
Speaking of the one thing I did want to mention on the stream tonight was
do it right at the very end when no one's watching.
Yikes!
Yeah, literally.
There's 10.
Speaking of Green Day, if you haven't noticed, they've been putting out these weekly covers of just whatever they want to do. If you haven't noticed anything about Billy Joe Armstrong, is he's actually a very big oldies fan. You can do any amount of internet research and see that he's done a ton of oldies covers. In fact, you could do 1-to-1 of what we do and what they've put out, and it's like, the throwback. Like our cover of Johnny B. Good is the Green Day cover of Johnny B. Good. So as of late, they've been putting out covers of just straight up versions of what we do. Specifically, I think We're Alone Now came out one of the first ones that they did during this quarantine, and we have a version of I think We're Alone Now coming out on our record, and it's almost identical. So when we start playing shows again, I'm thinking that people are going to go like, oh, awesome.
Cool.
Like, that's the Green Day version, right? And like, no.
Hey, are you guys tagging Billy Joe on Twitter? Like,
yeah,
I think that's what needs to happen. By the way, shout out to Billy Joe. If you're watching right now, check out the throwback.
He's watching. He's definitely watching.
Very much.
I said we're getting the West Coast people. Obviously,
totally.
This is making sense. Yeah.
He's just
we're not going to pursue any legal action on behalf of the Throwbacks here tonight. Because you're clearly stealing their shtick. But we can. If Billy Joe wants to collaborate on an oldies tune with the Throwbacks, I think they'd be open to it. Have your people contact their people. We'll see where it goes.
At me, Billy Joe.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Although we did once get an email. It was basically like a cease and desist email from a band out on the West Coast that was like, hey, we also sort of play oldies, and we also wear
tuxedo t-shirts.
Yeah. Can you please stop wearing tuxedo t-shirts? Like, this is no joke, the email that we got. And we're like,
did you laugh?
No, we can't do that. But
we actually can't stop doing it. It's part of our genetics.
Genetics.
Yeah.
This
shirt is actually a part of me.
Yeah.
Right. I cannot separate the two.
Although,
I'm sorry.
They actually seem like extremely rad dudes, and they played it. They're a touring band. They played at Dirty Nelly's. I'm pointing down the street like you can see. They played at Dirty Nelly's, and they hit us up. They were like, "Hey, we're in the area. If you guys want to come see the show, we couldn't."
I can't believe that you have like a friendly relationship with a band that sent you a cease and desist letter.
Dude, the guy called us.
Have you met us? We're very friendly people.
Dude, Josh and I had a conference call with their manager about not wearing the shirts anymore and doing what we're doing. Straight up, no joke. That he was basically like, how can we find a middle ground here? We're like, there's no middle ground, guy. We're not gonna stop doing it.
We're not in your territory. Keep it moving.
Yeah, right, it was very funny. It was very funny.
We so there's an Instagram account. So like all of our social media accounts are at TGTN band, but our Instagram is the exception. It's at TGTN_band, because there's a There Goes the Neighborhood from the UK that has been inactive for 6 years. And I've been trying to get their handle, and I've been trying to contact them, and I can't get a hold of them at all. Nobody. Like, I've been trying to be like, okay, maybe in their tagged photos they tag their drummer or something. Nothing. I can't get a hold of any of them to try to get that handle. And I'm like, dudes, please just delete your Instagram, please.
Something.
Like, for the love of God, I have the same problem with someone that took my name, because Shaheen Muradian, is not like a common name, but apparently someone registered it, and I think they live in like Turkey or something. But I just don't care enough. I'm just like, whatever. All right, it's fine.
Oh my God, what is going on? Got booked at Penny Road and
Jake's got some
the guy.
stuff.
Oh yeah.
Message saying he owed him money because he thought he booked Throwbacks since our band names are so similar, closely related.
Jake, just send that money straight to the Throwbacks. Right? just wire that money directly to Josh and Chris.
Dude,
They'll sort it out for you.
Josh.
Yep.
Look at them. I don't know who Jacob is. What's up, Jake? Good.
Jake's
Jake from the
All-American
All-American Throwbacks. Yeah.
Oh,
Jake. We call him Jake Man.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know if he
Hold
approves
on,
of that
hold
nickname or not. By the way, so Jake, if you don't approve of that nickname, I apologize, but I'm not going to stop using it until you tell me to. So, Jake
All right,
Man, you'll be.
So Jacob, I know that one question Shaheen wanted to ask was our worst show ever.
Yeah.
And
And you told us one story.
It
Okay,
might.
wait. Before we tell the story, it's almost 11 o'clock. I think this has to be our last story.
Okay, this is great.
I hate to be the guy to shut down, but I think this has to be it.
Okay.
We got work tomorrow. Josh is drunk. We gotta.
When I stood up, I realized how drunk I am.
That bourbon
Josh,
barrel style
so-
will get you.
I knew that
Josh,
was gonna.
Josh,
I knew it was gonna
Josh.
put me over the top.
Qualify the statement you're making. The worst show, not as the Throwbacks, the worst show we've ever played.
The worst show we've ever played. So Jacob, first of all, I apologize. Connor's out. He's taking a pee. Okay, I'm gonna tell the story anyway. So, we got booked at Sugar Skull.
I thought you were going to tell the Penny Road story.
I think
Oh
he's
no,
going to.
I'm gonna tell the Sugar Skull story. What do you got?
No, the Penny Road story, the American Mountain Penny Road story.
Oh no.
Oh,
Okay.
geez.
All right. Well, that's two separate stories, but the quick and easy. We got booked at a show where we didn't play it. This has happened a couple times, but it was very recent where we got booked at a show where we showed up on time, fully geared out, ready to roll, and it nobody was there, period. And none of the other bands showed up, and we set up our stuff. We're like, hey man, we'll just go on first. Like we'll just play our set. Like even if it's the bartender, like this is what we're here for. The guy working the door / the manager / the guy, / the guy putting the show together said, hey man, I just got a message from the booker. We're gonna hold off. We're gonna hold off for an hour plus, like just to see what happens here. We're like, okay, fine. He said, also you got to take your stuff down. We said, what? And he said, you got to take your stuff down because, we don't know what's really happening here. So like, let's just take your stuff down. Another band might go on, blah, blah, blah. We said, okay. So the show doesn't start on time. Now we're pushing. It was supposed to start at 9. Now we're pushing 11. The show still has not started.
And your stuff
other
is
ba-
broken down now.
We're completely torn down. Yeah,
we
Josh,
took down our
speed
stuff.
the story up.
This is the fast version. And I think what ended up happening is a band did start closer to midnight, and we said, hey man, we're just not going to play the show. We're here, we'll hang out, we'll watch the other bands, we'll drink at the bar, but there's literally no point in us playing this show. So like, we'll just hang out. We're not going to play it. I believe, Jacob, that is the reason why there might be some confusion with your band. So I completely apologize about that.
Story. The one that Sam's referring to is that there was a metal, there's a metal show. We walked downstairs, we're like ready to play. The band before us, some dude elbowed a security guard in the face, and that security guard came down on him like fucking hellfire or whatever hellfire. And then the sheriffs all ran down into the basement. People were getting handcuffed and screaming and fighting. We were like on next. We literally just picked up our gear and like walked out as the sheriffs were like dragging these people out. Although
I think a knife was pulled.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was there a stabbing? Because there has to be a stabbing story on every backstage with TGTN.
I will say the best show we ever played at Penny Road Pub was we opened for Dangerous Summer and some friends of ours from Tennessee called On My Honor, and they are a phenomenal pop punk band. They're no longer a band, but best show we've ever played at Penny Road Pub, despite the fact that like there was also a knife pulled, people were dying in the basement at a metal show that we played in Penny. That's all that Sam's referring.
Those are two separate shows.
No, I know. I'm saying that there's a dynamic between metal show and like
there was the basement show and then the upstairs.
I love it.
Yeah. You're saying.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Anyway,
I think we're gonna close it up here. Any final comments that we want to make? Did you guys have fun? Hopefully you guys had some good beer. You enjoyed this session.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Thank you so much for having us.
Happy to just bullshit and have a good time. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for the beers, by the way.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for your candid responses. And Josh, thanks for letting me help expand your mind.
Beer number 4 or 5 was horrific. Everything else was wonderful.
Thank you guys for joining us. Seriously, this was super fun.
This was
really
really
blast.
cool.
I'm glad we got to hang out with you guys. Like besides actually backstage of an actual show, like we get to spend some time and shoot it a little bit. So thank you guys so much for having us.
Absolutely, and like I mentioned, we'll be doing this more. We'll have the emo parade in 2 weeks, and then after that, who knows? We're just gonna kind of go down the list and see who we can get on here. If you guys like the show, tell your friends. We'll be doing this. Follow There Goes the Neighborhood. I stream live on Twitch as well, doing pop punk playthroughs. And yeah, just want to keep this going for as long as we can. We hope to make this a long-term project, not just something that we're doing through COVID, but something, as part of our sort of bi-weekly cadence. So should be a lot of fun. I actually think this is the coolest thing because just like you said, we don't get to talk. I think I've never talked to you guys without music blaring in my ears.
100% accurate. 100% accurate.
Yeah. With me eating chicken fingers like 2 feet
Connor's
away.
just like stuffing
in
like
our face.
waffle fries. Like, One thing I will say. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just gonna say I wanted to say thanks to everybody that kind of joined the stream, everyone that's in there right now, and just enjoyed all the comments. I mean, 278 comments and shares and stuff like that. So thanks so much for tuning in.
Seriously.
Yeah, we went for about 3 hours,
thank you, everybody.
which is great. Yeah, thanks so much for everybody. And I will say this: if you guys ever need a stand-in, I will offer my services.
Wow.
And if I ever need a sub, I might reach out to you guys. Maybe you'll get to play with There Goes the Neighborhood, and I'll get to be a throwback for a while.
I'd like that.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I would do it in a fucking heartbeat.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yep.
You're on
Same.
the list.
I would also do it in a heartbeat.
Count me in there. I'll do it.
Well, thanks so much, guys.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Thank
Everyone
you,
raise
guys.
your
Thanks
glasses.
so much. Cheers. Oh yeah. Cheers.
All right, boys.
Mine's empty, but cheers.
Cheers. Backstage with There Goes the Neighborhood. We are out. Bye for now, everyone.
Later.